no secret.
Why do thousands favor the flavor of Campbell's pork and beans? It's the extra good tomato sauce in Campbell's pork and beans. Now the beans are plump and the pork has zest, but in pork and beans the final test is tomato sauce, and it's the best in Campbell's pork and beans.
Yes, Campbell's pork and beans are best because they're made with the best tomato sauce. Get Campbell's pork and beans.
Good. Good. That's what Campbell's soup's done. Good.
Hollywood Campbell Soup present Double or Nothing, starring Walter O'Keefe. Canada says soup for lunch.
Oh, every noontime, everywhere, soup for lunch, soup for lunch.
A mealtime habit millions share.
It's soup for lunch each day.
From coast to coast across the Dominion, in Quebec, Winnipeg, Regina, Vancouver, Canadians share a happy eating habit, soup for lunch. And every day, a great many have Campbell's tomato soup. No wonder. It's made with plump, red-ripe tomatoes, golden table butter, just right seasoning. Good. The soup most folks like best. Often make your soup for lunch, Campbell's tomato soup.
Let's have bowls of soup for lunch.
Soup for lunch?
Soup for lunch.
There's a lunch that packs a punch. Soup for lunch today.
Here now is Double or Nothing special Wednesday show in Campbell Soup's Man of the Half Hour. Your paymaster of ceremonies, Walter O'Keefe, to bring you Vancouver, British Columbia against the world. Okay, O'Keefe.
Very much, ladies and gentlemen, for such a hearty welcome. Greetings to all of you around the country. You know, perhaps I'd better explain what Lou meant when he called this our special Wednesday show. You see, today, folks, we have two guests from Vancouver who've flown down here on a luxurious plane at 300 miles an hour to defend the honor of their hometown. They're going to compete in a battle of brains against two people we've chosen from the studio audience to represent the rest of the world.
The winners will be judged by the number of credit points earned, not by the amounts of money won by the teams. The Grand Slam counts 80 points, the sweepstakes 200.
And now I want you to meet the gentleman who selected the visiting two-man team, Jack Kyle. Jack, on behalf of the United States of America, on behalf of Double or Nothing, on behalf of Hollywood, on behalf of Campbell Soups, I welcome you to this studio here. We're glad to have you here.
Oh, Klahowya, Walter. Good to see you.
What did you say?
Klahowya.
Oh, Klahowya?
Klahowya. It's a connect term of sort of howya, you know.
Oh, Klahowya. Well, I'll have to remember that. Is it any cousin to Okinawa, Oklahoma?
This is a Canadian term, Walter. The Indians used to say greetings.
The Indians said what?
Greetings.
Greetings? Did the Indians say that? I just thought they said ugh.
Sometimes they say ugh, good.
Well. Now, I'd like to ask you this, my good young man. Tell me something about Vancouver. I know something I want to talk about later when one of your contestants comes out. But what are the main industries of Vancouver? I assume fishing?
Well, yes, fishing is.
Don't you have a tremendous logging industry in Vancouver?
Oh, we do indeed. As a matter of fact, I believe there are many famous people up in Vancouver.
Celebrities from the logging industry?
I believe there's one that is down here. Charlie McCarthy, I believe, was discovered up in our...
Well, thank you very much, Jack. I'll have to ask Edgar if he's a Vancouver boy. Now, Jack, we'd like to show our appreciation of your visit by making you our official scorekeeper in today's round of Cities Against the World. If you'll please step over there to that blackboard, we'd like you to keep count of points earned by each team. Remember, accuracy is important, because your scoring will determine which team wins. But first, will you introduce your first contestant from Vancouver, BC?
Well, coming out of her corner fighting, Walter, is Mrs. Helen Johnson.
Mrs. Helen Bridget O'Mara Johnson is a beautiful, euphonious name. Helen, we're glad to have you here.
Thank you, Walter. I'm very happy to be here, and I have a present for you.
This present comes from whom?
The Totem Land.
From the Totem Land?
That's right.
Well, I thank you very much. This is, I take it, it's a spectacular tie.
That's right.
Huh?
Yes,
Wait till
sir.
I get a look at this and show it to... Oh! Well, am I ready for color television? But I thank you very much, and I will wear it in good health, as the phrase is. Now, let me ask you this. What's your husband's job?
Oh, he takes money from banks.
a brake job in Washington, Boston?
Oh, no, nothing so
He
spectacular.
takes money from banks.
Yes, he does.
Is he with the Canadian government?
He works with the armored cars.
Oh,
And
I
they-
see. He's a guard?
A guard on the armored cars.
Now, how was your air trip? Have you flown much?
No, not
And this
very
was your
much.
first trip?
This was wonderful.
How was it? Tell me about your visit here in Hollywood.
Well, it's been outstanding. It's been the greatest thing that's happened to me so far in my life.
Well, let me ask you this, Helen. Is your husband your dream prince? And have you any quarrels with him? Is he the perfect spouse or what?
Oh, I think he's just the finest ever.
You haven't any grudges against him at all?
Well, his job, you know. His job, really, he has all this money. He carries $500,000 from this bank to this payroll, and he goes from one place to the other with all this money. And I'm downtown some days, and I see him down there, and then he asks me if I can give him a dime for coffee.
Oh, Helen, he sounds like a great guy. Now, let's see if you can win some money here. You're representing Vancouver against the world. You can win fame, fortune, and a Ben Russ watch. Here's the $80 Grand Slam question. My chum, Sherman Billingsley of the Stork Club in New York, loses 1,700 inscribed ashtrays to souvenir-mad customers each month. What do they cost apiece?
25 cents.
25 cents. Thank you very much, my dear. Now, first of all, what category?
Number 4, please.
Number 4, fictional and historical people whose names have become nouns and adjectives. All right? The names of a lot of people, both real and fictional, have become nouns and adjectives. For instance, a cruel taskmaster is often called a Simon Legree.
Yeah.
You see, that's like Harry Spears over here. Now, the $2 question for Campbell Soup. What Shakespearean act character's name is applied to a lover boy? He loved Juliet. Remember the comment like ham and eggs or lumber Abner? Or what was his name?
Romeo.
That's
Wherefore
it.
art thou Romeo? He said to him.
Romeo. For $4, Campbell Soup says Charles Dickens in his Christmas Carol gave us the name for stingy ma'am. What is it?
Ebenezer Scrooge.
That's right. In this country, it's known as Benny. Now, the $6 question for Campbell Soup. The name of a Florentine statesman has become an adjective to describe an unscrupulous politician. What is that adjective?
Machiavelli.
Machiavelli, that's
Machiavelli.
right. The hero of a Spanish romance by Cervantes has given us an adjective which means idealistic but impractical. Don was his first name, and he wrote off in 4 directions.
Quixotic or Don
Quixote,
Quixote.
Don Quixote. All right, so of course you want to go double or nothing.
Oh,
What would you do with the money? Would you send for the armored car to bring it back to Canada?
Don't ask me. With 6 children, I can find places for money.
All right,
Almost
for
any
$20,
amount.
Campbell Soup says a fabulously rich man is called by the name of a king in Greek mythology who turned everything he touched to gold. What was his name?
Midas.
His logical descendant is Bing. And now for $40, double or nothing. Campbell Soup says a Greek philosopher has given us an adjective to describe a love that is purely spiritual, such as existed between Shaw and that gal he wrote letters to. What is that adjective?
Plato, Platonic.
Platonic. You've won $40. Thank you. Congratulations. What's on today's menu, Lou?
First on today's menu, Walter, is a musical appetizer about a mighty appetizing dish, Campbell's tomato soup.
From east to west, the soup like best is Campbell's tomato soup.
At noon or night, it's a real delight to any family group.
They'll say it's great when you serve each plate as into the dining room they troop. It's rich and bright and tastes just right. That's Campbell's tomato soup. Good.
Yes, ma'am, Campbell's tomato soup brightens up even the simplest meal. For here's the matchless flavor of luscious red-ripe tomatoes blended with golden table butter and seasoned to perfection. Good. No wonder Campbell's tomato soup is the soup most folks like best. And no wonder they like to have it so often. So, Mother, never be without Campbell's tomato soup. It's the handiest thing on your kitchen shelf.
Originally from Oakland, California, we have a hot Marine here. He's decorated up in front with as much color as I got in that tie from Vancouver. This is Corporal Moritz Levine, USMC. Moritz, we're glad to have you here. Now, let me ask you this, Moritz. Your first name, your nickname isn't San, is it?
No, hardly.
San Moritz. Now, you've been in the Marines how long?
3.5 years, sir.
3.5 years?
Yes, sir.
What did you do before you went in the Marines?
Industrial stylist.
Industrial styling?
Passenger seats.
Passenger seats?
That's right.
What fascinating work. What is the latest thing? Passenger seats for what, Moritz?
Airplanes.
Airplanes? Well, what is the newest... How do you measure these? To provide the greatest comfort for the greatest people.
Well, our boss was pretty good size across the beam, and he was about the standard measurement for our passenger seats.
Where'd you go to school, Moritz?
I graduated from Hollywood High School.
No.
Yes, sir.
Is that a fact?
Uh-huh.
How come you didn't wind up in movies?
I ain't got the features for it.
You're not married yet?
Yes, I am.
Oh, you are? How did you happen to meet Mrs. Levine?
Met her eating a hamburger down the pike.
Oh, with a fragrance fleur du onion. What a heavenly thing. You said, that's the girl I want to marry?
No, I noticed her eyes. She's got the biggest brown eyes you ever saw.
Oh, you romantic, incurable fellow. Where was she eating this hamburger? In the Macambo or
No, the pike, down on Long Beach.
On the pike on Long Beach. Oh, yeah.
One of those little dives, they get off the side. That was a hamburger joint.
All right, the hamburger joint. Now, Morris, I want to explain one thing to you. You are representing the world against Vancouver today. In addition to the money that you might win, you could also win a Benrus watch. So, first of all, what's your favorite kind of Campbell soup?
Cream of mushroom.
Cream of mushroom? We'll send
sir.
you a gift carton with a sponsor's compliments. And here comes the $80 Grand Slam question. Sherman Billingsley, the Boniface of the Stork Club in New York, loses 1,700 inscribed ashtrays to souvenir-mad customers every month. What do they cost a piece?
Wholesale or retail?
I know Billingsley, kid. It's wholesale. Don't worry about that.
I'll say 13 cents.
13 cents. Thank you, Morris. What category for you, sir?
Number 12.
Number 12, things antagonistic to other things. Gee, it sounds like the present situation in America. Things antagonistic to other things. $2 question for Campbell Soups. Dogs traditionally fight with what other animals?
Cats.
Have you heard from the Catses lately? The $4 question for Campbell Soups. Oil won't mix with what liquid composed of hydrogen and oxygen?
Water.
Gee, you know your chemistry, don't you?
Flunked it in high school.
$6 question for Campbell Soup. An alkali will neutralize what chemical substance? It's a word that means sour.
Acid.
Right. The $10 question for Campbell Soup. A proton repels what kind of electrical charge? It begins with E.
Electron.
That's it. Double or nothing for $20. Campbell Soup says, in the famous mountain feud, the Martins fight with whom?
McCoy's?
That's it. You're in for $20. Now, double or nothing for... What would you do with the money? Go back to the pike and have a hamburger with your wife?
No. Well, see, I was going to get some money back from the government on my income tax.
Oh, you optimist.
Well, I know it's coming this time.
All right. For $40, and I hope you make it. Campbell Soup says, according to the saying, you shouldn't mix business and what?
Pleasure.
You won $40. Congratulations. Our battle between the teams representing Vancouver and the rest of the world will continue in just a moment.
This concludes the first half of Double or Nothing, brought to you by Campbell's Tomato Soup.
Why do millions favor the flavor of Campbell's pork and beans? It's the extra good tomato sauce in Campbell's pork and beans. Now the beans are plump and the pork has zest, but in pork and beans the final test is tomato sauce, and it's the best in Campbell's pork and beans.
Here we are in the second half of Double or Nothing, brought to you by Campbell's Pork and Beans. Listen for the Grand Slam finish and the Pork and Beans sweepstakes, the thrilling climax in the battle between Vancouver and the rest of the world. Now here's our paymaster of ceremonies, Walter O'Keefe. O'Keefe.
From Vancouver, representing Vancouver against the world, I represent Mrs. Shirley Wimbles, and I say to you, Shirley, Kahawa.
What
have you got in your hand, Shirley?
I have a present for you, Walter, from Totemland as well.
From Totemland?
Yes, this is a Thunderbird.
No.
Yes. It's a Thunderbird, and he is a god to the Indian tribe that carved this for you. And underneath here, holding the world, which is, as you can see, British Columbia to them, on his shoulders is the first man of the world. I think something like, I better not try to pronounce it.
That's the first man of the world. Well, hold it up straight to the audience so they can see. Doesn't that look like a sunset bus scene? No, that is a very beautiful trophy, and Shirley, believe me, oh, that's going to scare me some morning. Oh, that look in his eye. You know, it's funny, I swear I've seen him before. Tell me about your visit here in Hollywood.
Well, Walter, I was kicked by a Moscow mule.
You were kicked by a Moscow mule? How come you were kicked by a Moscow mule?
Well, I didn't know what they were, but I wanted to try them, and I did.
What are they? Your husband is a commercial artist?
Yes, that's right.
Have you ever been his model?
No.
I understand that you're quite a swimmer.
Yes, I've done a lot of swimming, Walter.
Got any cups or titles?
Well, a long time ago, about 46, I took the Saskatchewan Provincial Freestyle.
The Saskatchewan Provincial Freestyle.
I know you're going to ask me where Saskatchewan is.
No, I was just wondering if that was anywhere near the Moscow Mule country. How did you meet your husband, Shirley?
Underwater.
You know, more people should do that. I don't know, some of the things I've seen underwater look so much better than when I see them above water. But you weren't disappointed when the two of you shot up.
Oh, no. I was young and foolish.
You weren't so foolish. You got Shirley, look, dear, you have a big opportunity here today. By the way, we are sending you a gift card to Campbell's Pork and Beans, but representing Vancouver against the world, you can win not only money and fame, but a Ben Rust watch. So let's have your category. Which one?
Number 1, Walter, music.
Number 1? All right, here comes the Grand Slam question. Sherman Billingsley, a man in the Stork Club in New York, loses 1,700 inscribed ashtrays to souvenir mad customers each month. What do they cost apiece? This doesn't include what Peter Donald takes away.
I'd say about $1.
$1? We'll put it down. Here comes Cole Porter hits for Campbell's Pork and Beans, played by Mr. Irv Orton.
Rosalie, my darling.
Yes, Rosalie. And gee, that was written a long while ago. How come you know? Are you musical yourself?
No, I'm not particularly.
The $4 question for Campbell's, played on the piano.
I've got you under my skin.
I've got you under my skin. That's what the State Department is singing to the communists. Now, here's the $6 question. $6 question for Campbell's and the organ.
What is this thing called love?
What is this thing called love? It's a thing you find when you grab a man's ankles underwater. The $10 question for Campbell's on the piano by Irv. Shall we dance?
When they begin the begin.
When they begin the begin, introduced by June Knight in a play called Jubilee. Now, you want to go double or nothing, don't you?
Yes, please.
What would you do with the money if you were to win?
I'm going to buy my friends some nice
You're going to buy some what?
souvenirs.
Some souvenirs? All right, double or nothing for $20. Campbell says, listen to this on the organ and piano. One of the great Western songs of all time.
Don't fence me in.
Don't fence me in. And now for $40. Good luck to you. Campbell says, go over the top with this one.
I'm sorry, I don't know that.
Oh, I'm terribly sorry. These things happen, honey. People get up here. Shirley, wait a minute, dear. I know you know it. But inasmuch as this is a contest, I can't help you. It's anything goes.
Oh, that's right.
Terribly sorry, Shirley. Terribly sorry. Thank you for coming by. Now, Lou Crosby.
The best pork and beans you ever tasted. That's Campbell's Pork and Beans. Yes, ma'am, you can't beat the matchless flavor of Campbell's Pork and Beans. And here's why. The sauce makes them best. You see, Campbell's put all their years of kitchen know-how into this superb blending of luscious red-ripe tomatoes, savory spices, and gentle seasoning. Then Campbell's cook choice beans and lean bacon pork right along with this extra good sauce till that homey flavor cooks deep into every plump, tender bean. Delicious. This afternoon, get several cans of Campbell's Pork and Beans. And say, if you have a big family or a small family with big appetites, get the handy 1-pound, 7-ounce family-size can. It's the big buy in the best beans. That's the big family-size can of Campbell's Pork and Beans with the extra good tomato sauce that makes them best. Get some today.
From Superior, Wisconsin, we have Mrs. Pearl Regan. Kahawa, Pearl.
Kahawa.
Kahawa. You know, I was just looking at this lovely little chap here. This totem pole, greetings from British Columbia, Totem Land, a great place to live, to work, and to play. And I want to thank Ellen Neal of Catcasolas for her job of sculpture here. Now, from Superior, Wisconsin, visiting relatives on her second honeymoon, married 27 years, 2 children, 2 grandchildren. Pearl, that's quite a record, and I'm glad to have you on your second honeymoon.
Thank you.
You sound like an incurable romanticist.
Oh, maybe I am.
Did you catch your husband in the water, dear?
Oh, no. It was a little harder than that.
Back where?
It was a little harder than that.
A little harder than that? How did it happen with you, Pearl?
Well, I met him in high school, and he was about the most bashful boy in the class.
You what?
It was harder to catch than fish underwater.
Well, how did you eventually catch the rascal?
Well,
what impressed you about
I really
him?
had to do all the work.
Let's reenact that scene, Pearl. I am a very bashful boy. How would you approach me?
Well, of course, you know how it is when you're trying to make the grade with a good-looking kid.
No, I don't.
And he's a bashful kid.
No.
And he gets red behind the ears every time you want to talk to him.
All right, so I'm red behind the ears.
So I'm sitting behind him in school.
Yeah.
And, of course, I know all the answers.
Are we talking about schoolwork, Pearl?
Schoolwork. And I know all the answers, but I'm pretending I don't.
Ah.
So I'm poking him in the back, and I'm asking him, see?
Oh.
That way I got acquainted.
And you've been married for 27 years.
Almost.
As a woman who's had 2 children of your own and you got 2 grandchildren, your hobby, it says here, no charge as a babysitter. She won't work for anyone who can afford to pay.
No.
Would you like to get anybody here want to get... What do you mean you won't work for anybody who can afford to pay?
Well, because I think that should go to the girls who are out to earn a little spending money. And I don't need the money, and I just help out the young couples who can't afford a babysitter. So I call myself a babysitter that sits for no pay.
Pearl, you are one of the most... You know, with an offer like that, Pearl, you'll probably get more mail here at NBC than the White House got last week.
Yes, I hope not.
Now, we're going to send you a gift carton of Campbell's Pork and Beans. You're representing the world against Vancouver. You can win a Ben Russ watch here today also. Here's the Grand Slam question. Sherman Billingsley of the Star Club in New York loses 1,700 inscribed ashtrays to Souvenir Mad customers each month. What do they cost a piece?
I'd say 7 cents.
7 cents. Thank you, Pearl. What category?
14.
14. 14 has to do with former names, or proper names in everyday use. What is a John Hancock? What do you mean by that?
Name.
Yes, it's a signature.
Name.
The Campbell $4 question. What is a Mother Hubbard?
It's an apron, a house dress.
A house dress. The $6 question for Campbell. What is a Jolly Roger?
Oh, God.
What is a Jolly Roger? We cannot help you from the audience, unfortunately, dear, in today's program. What is a Jolly Roger? Oh, I'm so sorry, Pearl. I'll have to tell you, it's something that hangs or flies over a used car lot. It's a pirate's flag.
Never heard of it.
It's a pirate's flag. Stand by. Maybe you'll win in the sweepstakes, dear. We'll be back in just a moment with a Grand Slam winner in the Pork and Beans sweepstakes and the climax of the battle, Vancouver against the world.
It's no secret.
Why do millions favor the flavor of Campbell's Pork and Beans. It's the extra good tomato sauce in Campbell's Pork and Beans. Now the beans are plump and the pork has zest, but in pork and beans the final test is tomato sauce, and it's the best in Campbell's Pork and Beans.
Yes, it's the lively, rich sauce that makes Campbell's Pork and Beans the best. This superb blend of luscious tomatoes and gentle seasonings is cooked right along with choice beans and lean bacon pork till there's extra flavor in every tender bean. Delicious. So get the best. Get Campbell's Pork and Beans with the extra good tomato sauce.
The Grand Slam question. Sherman Billingsley of the Stork Club in New York loses 1,700 inscribed ashtrays to Souvenir Mad customers each month. What do they cost a piece? The answer is 55 cents. Gee, it occurs to me I own quite a few bucks now. See, with an answer of 25 cents, the nearest guess was Helen Johnson of Vancouver. Congratulations.
Now, friends, the Pork and Beans sweepstakes. Today's cash prize from Campbell's amounts to $268. Today's winning question comes from Mrs. Leo Sullivan of Manville, Rhode Island, and we'll pay half-hour sweepstakes, $134 for it. The first contestant to come up with a correct answer wins the other half of our sweepstakes, or $134. If no one wins, the studio contestants' half the money will be added to tomorrow's Pork and Bean sweepstakes. Walter?
You have 30 seconds. Get out your pencil for Mrs. Leo Sullivan's question. Here it comes. In Du Maurier's book, Trilby, who hypnotized the heroine and in that state taught her to sing?
Campbell's bring you the Pork and Bean sweepstakes. Now we're paying off again. Take a try at the Pork and Bean sweepstakes. Think about it, rack your brain. Come on and join this money-making caper. If you know the answer, write it on your paper. Walter, hey Walter, have we got a winner today? Have we got a winner today?
No, I am amazed. We have no winner. In Du Maurier's book, Trilby, who hypnotized the heroine and in that state taught her to sing? The answer is Svengali, and not, as the Marine said, Joe Schloop the midget. Congratulations, Mrs. Sullivan. Ladies and gentlemen, listen tomorrow for the details on how you can enter this exciting sweepstakes contest. And now it's time for the showdown in our battle of wits, Vancouver against the world. So let's ask our official scorekeeper, Jack Kyle, to announce today's winner.
Walter, we have the finals here, and the world has 44 points. Vancouver, British Columbia, 140.
That was an exciting show you put on, girls, and here for each of you is a superlatively styled Ben Russ wristwatch. Ben Russ is the official watch of famous airlines. Congratulations and good luck.
Thank you.
Don't miss the next round of this great contest. Tune in next Wednesday and hear Minneapolis, St. Paul against the world.
This is Walter O'Keefe saying goodbye. And when you buy Pork and Beans, get the best. Say goodbye to the rest, get Campbell.
Double or Nothing, a full half hour of fresh remarks and laughs starring Walter O'Keefe is brought to you every day, Monday through Friday, by the Campbell Soup Company Limited of Canada. This is Lou Crosby saying goodbye till tomorrow.
Whenever you want a good, hearty lunch for the youngsters, serve Franco-American spaghetti. Franco-American is finest quality spaghetti in a tantalizing sauce of juicy tomatoes and tangy cheddar cheese. Only pennies a portion. Just heat and...
Eat hearty.
Eat hearty with Franco-American spaghetti.
Eat hearty.
Eat hearty with Franco-American spaghetti.
Ladies and gentlemen, the secret word tonight is shoe. S-H-O-E.
Really?
You bet your life. The one, the only...
Just a second, I'll see if he's here. Oh, that's me, Groucho Marx. Thank you. Well, here I am again with $3,000 for one of our couples tonight. George Fenneman, who's first to try and take it away from me?
We invited some expectant fathers and some baby nurses to the show tonight.
You did?
Just before we went on the air, the audience selected Mr. Frank Sullivan and Miss Margaret Lindsay. Folks, meet Groucho Marx.
Welcome. And if you say the secret word at any time we're talking, I'll pay $100 in cash instantly. It's a common word, something you always have with you. A baby nurse and an expectant father, eh? Miss Lindsay, I presume you're the nurse?
I am.
Where are you from, Margaret?
I was born in Johnstown, Pennsylvania.
During the flood? Or...
Before or after the flood?
Well, a lot of water's gone over the dam since then. If you pardon the expression. How long have you been a baby nurse? I mean, how long have you been a nurse, baby?
About 18 or 20 years.
Mm-hmm. How many babies have you had, Margaret?
Oh, hundreds of them. About 300 a year.
How long have you been married? About 40 years?
I'm not married.
I trust that's the proper explanation for that. You've taken care of 300-400 babies?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Mr. Frank Sullivan, huh?
Yes.
You're an expectant father, huh?
That's right.
What are you expecting?
A baby.
I didn't think you were expecting a kangaroo, Frank. I mean, are you expecting a boy or a girl?
A boy.
A boy, huh? How do you know it'll be a boy? Friends in Washington?
Sooner or later, it'll be a boy.
When is this boy going to arrive, Frank?
Any minute.
Well, what are you doing here? Why aren't you over at the hospital making life miserable for everybody down there?
The doctor told me to get out of there and stop cluttering the place up. So I asked him if I could come over here and make some money to pay for the baby.
Fine baby. He's not even born yet. Already he's putting the bee on the old man for money. Now, Miss Lindsay, as a baby nurse, just what do you do?
Well, we take the baby and the mother home and get the formula from the doctor, go home and see that the mother and the baby are taken care of, and
Who
cook
takes
the
care of the father?
Well, if necessary, I would.
You give him his bottle, you mean?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Tell me, how long do you take care of the mother and the infant?
Oh, anywhere from 2 weeks to a month, according to Papa's pocketbook.
Mm-hmm. That's a very mercenary attitude, isn't it? Then what do you do?
Go on to another case.
Well, I guess a job like that calls for a lot of changes, huh, Margaret?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
When are you expecting your next baby, Margaret?
Monday.
Is that so? Congratulations. Huh? You're much calmer than the expectant father over here. What kind of work do you do, Mr. Sullivan?
I drive a cab and I sell physiotherapy equipment.
In the cab?
It all depends. If the doctor gets in the cab and I get a chance to sell it to him, I will. But I drive the cab first, and then I sell physiotherapy equipment in the afternoon.
Have you had any news yet about the kid?
No.
Well, stick around. Gabriel Heat will be on soon. How long have you been married, Frank?
A little over a year.
How'd you meet your wife?
I met her at Big Bear when I was on leave from the Air Forces. I went to a dance up there.
Oh, were you a pilot?
Yes. She had a ribbon on. She was a beautiful girl.
Just a ribbon? No shoes or anything?
She had shoes and everything on.
What a jerk I am. I had to throw you in the shoes there. Oh, no, that's me this time. I don't get a nickel, huh? Well, you just made yourself $100, Pop. Congratulations. Now, where were we when you threw that shoe at me? So, what happened?
Well, I asked her to dance, and we danced, and then I called her up when I got home.
Isn't it difficult in her bare feet? How did you meet your husband, Margaret?
I haven't any husband.
Well, are you married?
No.
Well, that explains it, I guess. Well, why aren't you married, Margaret? You're an attractive girl. Being around babies so much, it seems to me you'd want to get married.
Well, it's this way. All the men I meet are husbands and fathers and...
Well, in your job, you just can't get away from the eternal triangles,
That's
huh?
right. By the way, they're not triangles anymore.
They're not triangles?
They're squares.
They're squares. Are you referring to the husbands or the diapers? And all these years, for the past 50 or 100 years, they've been using triangles. Huh? Bet some kid figured this out.
I bet they did, too.
At a square dance, I'll bet. Huh? Now, Francis, let's see how much you know about babies. For example, should you pick him up when he cries?
If you pick him up, he'll shut up.
Who wouldn't, huh? That'd spoil him, I suppose, huh, if you picked him up? Huh?
Well, they say so, but I've been reading books and... says it doesn't spoil them.
Clara Barton, how do you feel about picking up crying babies?
Well, I think it should be done because you never can tell what's the matter if they have a pin sticking them or gas on the stomach or, etc.
Well, the etc. is probably the reason he's crying in the first place. I had gas on the stomach last week. I was at a filling station and the pump fell on me. Miss Lindsay, are you married yet?
Not yet.
Well, time's a wasting, You're liable to wind up an old maid. Bring her in and we'll wind her up together, huh? Well, you've been an interesting couple, and I hope you'll both be very happy. Now, in just 1 minute, you'll get a chance to earn $3,000. Right now, listen to this. All right, now you're going to play You Bet Your Life for $3,000. Fenneman, bring our expectant father and the baby nurse up to date on the rules.
Each of our 3 couples has $20. They bet as much of that 20 as they want on each of 4 questions. The couple that earns the most money gets a chance at the $3,000 question at the end of the program. Our other 2 couples are in a waiting room off stage, so they don't know what's happening out here.
What question category did you select?
Songs about New York.
Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
How much are you going to bet of the $20?
$10.
Jerry Fielding will supply the music. You identify the song. Okay, Jerry. Lullaby at Broadway is right.
And they're on their way. They have $30.
All right, you're going for $3,000 tonight. Remember, that's the big prize now. How much of your $30 you going to try?
15.
Talk right up now. Talk
15.
right up.
Oh,
15.
I'd rather have 20, but...
Come to some decision between
20.
Huh?
20.
Has the kid come yet?
No, not yet.
All right, $20. What's the title of this New York song?
42nd Street.
42nd Street.
They're really climbing. They have $50 now.
Why are you climbing your way up? Here's your third question. You have $50. How much are you going to try?
40.
$40, huh? Play, Jerry.
Give my regards to Broadway.
Broadway.
Now they're up to $90, Groucho.
All right, you've crept up to $90. Now, how much are you going to try this time?
We've decided 80.
Are you married yet, Margaret?
No.
All right. You're going to bet $80. What's the name of this New York song?
The Bowery.
The Bowery is correct.
And they wound up with $170 plus $100 for the secret word.
Thanks and good luck. Stick around now. You're still in the running for the big question.
Groucho, our next couple, has been in a waiting room off stage, so they don't know the secret word is shoe. Perhaps they'll say it. Just before we went on the air, our studio audience selected a fix-it man and a housewife. And here they are, Mr. Fred Smith and Mrs. Helen Blair meet Groucho Marx.
Folks, we're happy to have you here. And if you say the secret word at any time we're talking, we'll pay you $100 immediately. It's a common word, something you always have with you. Let's see, fix-it man and a housewife. Mrs. Helen Blair?
That's right.
How large a family do you have?
I have one child.
One child, huh? And what does your husband do for a living?
He's a fuller brush man.
Front door or back, huh?
I think he'd take either.
Mr. Fred Smith, you're the fix-it man, huh?
That's right.
Mm-hmm. Well, just stand there and fix it. I'll be back to you in a moment. Mrs. Blair, how did you meet your husband?
Well, I was living on a farm. I was the farmer's daughter. And we had been missing our chickens. So this evening we had our light on.
What do you mean you'd been missing them? You were lonely for them?
No, they'd been disappearing.
Oh.
And,
well, it's quite a difference.
We heard this terrible racket in the chicken house, and just as I got to the door of the chicken house, a skunk came out.
And that was your future husband?
No. I saw this skunk, and I yelled, "Get that skunk!" And this young boy was coming over to see my brother, and he grabbed for the skunk, and I grabbed for it, and we both fell on it. We smelled to the high heavens. We went back in the house and tried to figure out what to do. But finally, we decided that we should start going out together because nobody else would go with us.
Well, that is certainly an unusual romance, Mrs. Are you the fix-it man, Mr. Smith?
I am.
Now, just what do you fix as a fix-it man, Mr. Smith?
Well, I fix lawnmowers, knives, shears, and electrical appliances, and what have you.
Are you married?
Yes and no.
That's the way to be. What do you mean, yes or no? What kind of an answer is that from me?
However, I'm going to marry the same woman that I was married to.
Didn't it take the first time? Why are you remarrying the same girl of your dreams?
Well, I think it's the proper thing to do.
How old are you, Mr. Smith?
71.
Gee, you don't look it. You look about 58.
Oh, no.
Yeah, yeah. Not many fellas get married at 71.
No, they have better sense at that.
How did you meet your wife, Mr. Smith?
We were kids together.
Well, that's possible, but how'd you meet her, huh?
How'd I meet her? At school. In school.
First time my wife saw me, I was on the cover of Time magazine. She made me get off. It was her magazine. How'd you get to be a fix-it man? Did you start out as a fix-it boy?
No, I used to monkey around when I was a kid.
So did I, but all that got me was trouble, huh? Now, fix-it man, in your job, I presume you run into all sorts of emergencies. What was your biggest mistake?
When I moved to Missouri to live.
You'll get a letter from Kansas City in the morning. Now, Mrs. Blair, when something starts falling apart at the seams around your house, how do you get it repaired?
Well, my husband...
Your husband is falling apart at the seams?
No, he even fixed my... Tonight he had to fix my shoes before I...
I talk too much. You said shoe, and since that's the secret word tonight, you are now $100 richer.
Oh.
And here you are. Congratulations. Now, don't bother dropping the other shoe. Only the first one counts.
Thank you.
Now, let's play You Bet Your Life, the Elgin American game, for $3,000. Run your $20 into more than the other couples, and you get the chance at the big question later. Fenneman's off stage to remind our listeners how much the first couple won. Go ahead, George.
The baby nurse and the expectant father won $170.
Here we go. Let's see how high I can build you $20. What question category did you select?
Name the cloth.
Now, here's your first question. You have $20. How much will you try?
15.
Now, what kind of material is calico made of?
Cotton.
Cotton is correct.
We're off to a good start. They have $35.
Well, you've got a flying start. Remember, you're going for $3,000 tonight. How much of your $35 will you try?
30.
What kind of material is file? F-A-I-L-L-E.
It's a silk, and I believe it's made of
Silk is right. You said it, and you win the money.
They're climbing, they have $65.
Now you've got $65, and here's your third question. How much of the 65 are you going to bet?
60.
What kind of material is cretonne made of?
Cretonne. Oh, cotton?
That's right.
They now have $125.
All right, here's your last chance to beat the other couples. You have $125. How much are you going to bet?
50.
What kind of material is Cheviot made of?
Flax. Is that right?
I'm sorry, the answer is wool.
They wound up with $75 plus $100 for the secret word.
Now, in just 1 minute, our last couple will play You Bet Your Life, and then we'll know who gets the $3,000 question. Right now, I want you to pay attention to this. Now then, we'll soon know who's going to earn the most money and get the chance at the $3,000 question. George, who's leading so far?
Well, the expectant father and the baby nurse are leading with $170. And here's our final couple about to come from their waiting room off stage. They don't know the secret word is shoe. We invited some switchboard operators and some hotel detectives to the show tonight. And just before we went on the air, our studio audience selected operator Matty Weldy and Detective Bob Lowe. And here they are. Folks, meet Groucho Marx.
Welcome. If you say the secret word at any time we're talking, I'll pay $100 in cash instantly. It's a common word, something you always have with you. Miss Matty Weldy, is that right?
That's right.
You're a switchboard operator?
Yes, I am.
Where are you from, Matty?
I'm from Iceland.
Iceland?
That's right.
Looks pretty hot to be from Iceland.
Don't be too short.
One can never be too sure, Miss Weldy. Nobody ever seems to be born in Los Angeles. I guess on account of the smog, the stork can't find the chimney. Where do you do your telephone operating?
I do my top rock with the Daily News.
Have you ever had your lines tapped?
Not to my knowledge.
Well, keep an eye on Detective Lowe over here. I notice he's looking over your lines right now. Detective Bob Lowe, huh? Mm-hmm. Where are you from?
Cleveland, Ohio.
Mm-hmm. Didn't they used to have a ball club there? Tell me, Dick Tracy, at which hostelry do you do your snoozing? I mean snooping.
I don't do any snoozing and I don't do any snooping.
I beg your pardon. At which hotel are you an eye, ear, and nose specialist?
Why, it's the Country Club Hotel.
You work day or night, sir?
I work the night shift.
I used to wear a night shift. Now I wear pajamas. You must have had some embarrassing experiences in your job, haven't you, Mr. Lowe?
Yes,
Such as looking someone straight in the eye through a keyhole?
I don't look through keyholes.
Well, it's my mistake. I thought you looked a little peaked, that's all. Besides, I should have known a man as tall as you was strictly a transom man. Now tell me, Gimlet Eye, do the guests at your hotel ever steal things like towels, linen, rugs, and mattresses?
Oh, occasionally they take a towel or two, yeah.
Mm-hmm. What do your towels at home say?
They say his and hers.
His and hers, huh? I can just picture you at home, huh? Your wife throws the his and her towels in the Bendix washer, and there you are peeking through the little window, watching his chasing hers through the hot soap suds. Tell me, Potted Palm, how do you spot a crook in your hotel? Do you use a paintbrush? How do you spot them?
Well, when they come in the hotel, we look at them, and if they're nervous and sort of shifty-eyed and jittery.
That's me, Groucho Marx. Well, how else can you spot a crook? Say, for example, I was walking through your lobby, and you think there's a chance my suitcase might be filled with silverware. How would you handle it? Go ahead.
Well, I'd walk up to you and ask you, can I help you, sir?
I'd say, yeah, hold this stuff while I go back and get the twin beds. Well, are you going to arrest me or not?
No, I don't think we will, Mr. Marks. You see, we saw you coming in and we recognized you, so we knew that you weren't a crook and that you were honest.
This is the most insulting thing I've heard all day. I'm going to sue you for defamation of character. Now we're going to play You Bet Your Life. And if you can beat our other two couples, you'll get a crack at the $3,000 question. I can't tell you how much they won, but George has gone off stage to remind our listeners.
The baby nurse and the expectant father are still ahead with $170.
Here we go. Let's see how high I can build you $20. What question category did you select?
Movie title roles.
That's right. Now, here's your first question. You've got $20. How much are you going to try?
About 10. I thought
$10. All right. Who plays the title role in I Was a Male War Bride?
Cary Grant.
Cary Grant is correct.
They're on their way, Groucho, with $30.
All right. Remember, you're going for $3,000 tonight. How much of your $30 will you try?
20.
All right.
$20. Who plays the title role in the picture Mr. Soft Touch? The bell is tolled. Well, anyhow, it was Glenn Ford.
Now they have $10.
You have $10 left. How much are you going to bet now?
Better bet the 5.
Yes. Let's just
You're going to bet 5. Well, who played the title role in The Champion?
Kirk Douglas.
Kirk Douglas is right.
They're on their way again. They have $15.
All right, now you have $15. Here's your last chance to beat the other couples. How much will you bet? How much of the 15?
All.
All? Okay. Who plays the title role in The Fighting Kentuckian?
John Wayne.
John Wayne is right.
And they wind up with a grand total of $30. And that means the expectant father and the baby nurse with $170 get the chance at the $3,000 question. And here's the winning couple, Groucho, the expectant father and the baby nurse.
Well, back again to try for $3,000, eh? Good luck. I'll give you 15 seconds to decide on a single answer between you, so talk it over thoroughly. And no help from the audience, please. Put on your thinking caps. Remember your history. George Washington was the first general to become president. Who was the second general to become president? He was a general in the Second War the United States had with England. What is the answer you two have decided upon?
Jackson.
Andrew Jackson is right. Come on, kid. That's right. You win $3,000 in cash. Now, what are you going to do with all that money? What are you going to do with yours, Francis?
I have to have time to believe it first.
Well, let's say it's true. What are you going to do with that money?
Well, I'd like to put some in the bank for Junior.
Well, you can afford to have triplets now, you know. And Margaret, what are you going to do with yours?
I don't know. I think I'll try to buy a home for my mother and myself.
You won $270 plus $3,000. You really cleaned up tonight. Congratulations to both of you.
You Bet Your Life is a John Goodell production, transcribed from Hollywood, directed by Bob Dwan and Bernie Smith. Music by Jerry Fielding.
From the campuses of Columbia University in New York City, New York, and Colgate University in Hamilton, New York, the National Broadcasting Company, in cooperation with Good Housekeeping Magazine, presents the transcribed College Quiz Bowl. Tonight, Columbia University is out to challenge the varsity scholars from Colgate University, the school that last week toppled Mount Holyoke College here in the College Quiz Bowl. And now, here in Radio City, New York, is your master of the quiz, Alan Ludden.
Hi there, everybody. It's good to have you with us for another intercollegiate battle of the brains. Tonight, It will be 4 men from Columbia against 4 men from Colgate in the first all-male contest we've had here in the College Quiz Bowl this year. Now let's get along with the game and meet these teams. First, we're going way upstate to Hamilton, New York, where Bob Whitney of station WSYR Syracuse is on hand to referee for the Colgate University team. Are you there, Bob?
You bet I am, Alan, and so is the Colgate team. The boys hope to hang on to the Quiz Bowl title, and they're fully prepared to give those city slickers from Manhattan a hard fight and a tough game. Here they are.
Paul Schmidt from Hudson, New Hampshire.
Peter Gould from South Devon, England.
Marty Hyatt, New York City.
Jim Wachtell, New York City.
All right, there you have the defending team from Colgate University in Hamilton, New York. Now let's come back to New York City, where Fred Collins of station WRCA, New York, is standing by to referee for the Columbia University team. Are you up there, Fred?
I sure am, Alan, and so is the whole Columbia team. And they tell me they've been doing a little preseason training and are pretty confident that they'll do all right in this bowl game. And here they are to introduce themselves.
Tom Evans, Cincinnati, Ohio.
Milburn Smith from Fort Plain, New York.
Sheldon Wolf from Brooklyn, New York.
Jerry Pompa from New York City.
All right, now you've met both teams. Before Roger Tuttle explains our rules, may I point out that we recognize the fact that here in the College Quiz Bowl, we're putting the emphasis on a quick recall of specific facts. But we're also trying to give you an opportunity to meet a few of the many remarkable, well-rounded personalities to be found today on every American campus. Now, how about those rules, Rod?
Right, Alan, and here they are. Alan Ludden asks a toss-up question worth 10 points. And the first team to signal it knows the answer gets a chance to answer it. When Colgate University signals, you'll hear... And when Columbia University signals, you'll hear... By means of a special electronic selector, the team which signals first, even by a split second, activates its light here in New York City and makes it impossible for the other team's light to flash. Now, if a team gives a wrong answer to the toss-up question, the other team is given a chance to answer it. And whichever team gives the right answer gets a bonus question worth a stated number of points. The team with the most points at the end of the game is the winner and returns next week to defend its title here in the College Quiz Bowl.
Thank you, Roger. Now remember, teams, you may interrupt a toss-up question before I've finished asking it, but if you do, and if your answer is wrong, your team's going to be penalized 5 points, and I'll have to repeat the question, giving the other team a free crack at it. Okay, those are the rules, and that's the opening whistle, so let's go. Your first toss-up tonight could earn you a chance at a 30-point bonus. Here's your toss-up. The smallest mammal in the animal kingdom is mentioned in the title of one of Shakespeare's plays. Colgate.
Jim Wachtell.
The play is The Taming of the Shrew.
That's the answer for 10 points. You interrupted the question. I was to ask, what's the mammal? And you said shrew. And that's all I needed to know. Okay. Shrew in The Taming of the Shrew, and here's your 30-point bonus. Colgate. You know, certain slogans and catchphrases were either coined by or used by certain presidents in campaign speeches and political oratory. Now, I'm going to quote a series of such phrases, and for a quick, you get that quick, for a quick 5 points apiece, you name the presidents. You got it? Here we go. First, a chicken in every pot, 2 cars in every garage. Herbert Hoover. For 5 points. Okay, 4 more years of the full dinner pail.
McKinley.
Right, for 5 points. 54-40 or fight.
Was Polk?
Polk, right, for 5 points. Malefactors of great wealth.
Bryan, I think.
No, Theodore Roosevelt. All right, now who first used this one? The first one to use this one. Best not to swap horses when crossing a stream.
Abe Lincoln, was it?
Abe Lincoln, right, for 5 points. Economic royalists.
FDR.
FDR, right, for 25 points. Okay, here we go with another toss-up. We've got a 30-point bonus in the offing. 30-point bonus is coming up. Here is your toss-up. England beat Napoleon's forces at Trafalgar. For 10 points, what 2 armies did Napoleon beat at Austerlitz? Colgate.
Jim Wachtell.
Austria and Russia.
Right, for 10 points. Right for 10 points, Russia and Austria. Now, Colgate, here's a chance to earn 30 points simply by singing back to me the line that follows the one that I sing to you. That's right, I said sing.
Alan.
And I want you to approximate the tune at least as well as I do. Are you all set, Colgate?
This is the line that follows, Alan?
The line that follows, the one I sing. I put sing in quotes. You got a broad area here. You ready? All right, Colgate, tell me to sing the line that follows this one. My grandfather's clock was too old for the shelf, so it stood 90 years on the floor.
It
Paul
was
Smith
taller by
the
half.
song.
Go on.
It was taller by half than the old man himself, though it weighed not a penny weight more.
Right for 10 points. Very good. Okay, here we go. Sing the line that follows this one. You ready? Here we go. When I was a lad, I served a term as an office boy to an attorney's firm.
I swept the floor and I polished up the handle of the big front door.
Okay, you missed. I scrubbed the window, but that's okay. That's a good try. It certainly as neat as the melody as mine. All right, here we go. The line that follows this one. Mr. Sandman, bring me a dream. Make her complexions like peaches and cream.
Make her the one that I give her two lips like roses in clover. And tell her that my lonely nights are over.
Okay! You could sing it louder, but you couldn't do it any better. Now, before we move on to another toss-up question, let's find out what the stakes are in this quiz game. Roger?
Right, Alan. Each week, Good Housekeeping magazine will award to the school of the winning team a $500 gift to be administered by the college. It may go to a scholarship fund or to a campus activity. And each member of the losing team will receive an attractive, dependable Whitnor wristwatch, a distinguished member of the Longines Whitnor family of fine watches. Since 1866, maker of watches of the highest character. Well, those are the stakes. Now, with 20 and a half minutes to go, the score, Colgate 75, Columbia nothing. Let's go back to another toss-up question.
Okay, a 30-point bonus is coming up. Here's your toss-up. The game of baseball was brought up to date, so to speak, near the turn of the 20th century. Now, for 10 points, tell me exactly the modern distance between the pitcher's mound and the home plate. Colgate.
Marty Hart, 60 feet, 6 inches.
Right to the inch. 10 points. Okay, Colgate, you got a 30-point bonus here. I'm going to read the opening lines of 3 well-known 20th century American novels, and for 10 points apiece, you're to identify the title of each work and its author. Quote, he lay flat on the brown pine-needled floor of the forest, his chin on his folded arms, and high overhead the wind blew in the tops of the pine trees. The mountainside sloped gently where he lay, but below it was steep, and he could see the dark of the oil road winding through the pass. I want the title of the work and its author.
For Whom the Bell Tolls. Hemingway.
Right. For Whom the Bell Tolls, and Hemingway is the author. 10 points. Okay, quote. The first line. What's the author and the title of this work? To the red country and part of the gray country of Oklahoma, the last rains came gently, and they did not cut the scarred earth.
Steinbeck? Yeah,
Steinbeck. That's right, for 10 points. Steinbeck, Scrapes the Rat. All right. It was the hour of twilight on a soft spring day toward the end of April in the year of our Lord 1929, and George Webber leaned his elbows on the sill of his back window and looked out at what he could see of New York. You got it. Come on. What is it?
Wait a minute.
Come on. Thomas Wolfe, you can't go home again. Okay, scoring time, Rod.
Right now, we have 18 and a half minutes to go. Colgate has 105. Columbia is yet to be heard from.
All right, come on, Columbia. Are you there?
Yeah.
You there, Columbia? Let me hear you.
We're here.
Let me see your buzzer. Okay, everything's working. You got a 30-point bonus coming up. Here we go with a toss-up for 10 points. Whose famous line am I paraphrasing when I say, a Betty Pryor is a Floribunda is a Polyantha?
Oh.
Colgate.
It's Gertrude Stein's A Rose is a Rose is a Rose.
That's right. Who is this speaking? Who is speaking? Bob. Bob, who is speaking for Colgate?
Paul Smith.
Okay, Paul Smith. By recognizing that Gertrude Stein line, you got a 30-point bonus here for Colgate. You know, in the Bible, it was David against Goliath. At Weehawken, it was Hamilton against Burr. Now, for 10 points apiece, at the Battle of Philippi, it was Caesar and Antony against
Brutus and Cassius.
Right, Brutus and Cassius for 10 points. Boy, you're right on there tonight, Colgate. In Republican Party politics, it was the stalwarts against
The Bull Mooses.
The what?
Bull Mooses.
No, the half-breed. The half-breed. In the mountains, it was the McCoys against
Hatfields.
the Hatfields, right for 10 points. Now, I want to take time out here because I want to comment on one of the close decisions that we made in last week's close game between Colgate and Mount Holyoke. You know, we asked, what state in the United States ceded the land to Congress which became our nation's capital? Holyoke answered Maryland and Virginia, and we did not accept this answer. Originally, Virginia as well as Maryland did cede land to Congress, but in 1846, all the land that Virginia ceded was given back to her, and thus the land that comprises our nation's capital was exclusively the gift of Maryland. Now, we appreciate, and I mean we do appreciate, the tremendous interest of our listening audience on this point. We want to refer all of them who wrote to us to this publication, Government Publications, quote, Senate Document 178, 75th Congress, 3rd Session, a manual on the origin and development of Washington, D.C. That is our source. Now, going back with a 30-point musical bonus coming up, here's your toss-up for 10 points. Where in the world is there a place called Mary Church, the Pool of White Hazels, rather near the swift whirlpool of the Church of Tisilio and the Red Cave? Colgate.
Jim Martell.
Kenya, Africa.
Can you take it Columbia? Can you take it Columbia?
Jerry Pumper. You know?
Nobody thinks it?
Yes, we do have one.
What?
Tom Evans. I'll give it a try. Would that be Wales?
That would be Wales. That's right. In Wales, an island off Wales. You got 10 points by waiting there, Columbia. You got a chance at a 30-point musical bonus. Now, all you got to do is remember your freshman English, because I think it was there that you studied the various parts of a letter. You remember the salutation, the body, the closing, and so forth? Now, here are 3 popular songs which could suggest a specific segment of a letter. And all you've got to do to earn 10 points is to tell us which part each suggests. You got it? Okay, which part of the letter does this suggest?
Oh, Lord, won't you tell me why I love that fella so?
Oh? Number 1 all over the country?
We have a conference here.
Come on, I need it. Come on.
All right. What do you say, Tom? The body of the letter?
No, I'm sorry, that's the closing. That is sincerely with the McGuire singer. Okay, what part of the letter does this suggest?
Go ahead, Tom.
Come on.
That's the salutation.
That's the salutation. Dearly beloved, that's right for 10 points. Okay. All right, what part of the letter does this suggest?
else for me to say, so I'll go.
What did I hear? I heard it.
Yeah,
I heard
postscript.
it. The postscript, right. P.S. I love you. 20 points for you there, Columbia.
Right now, Alan, we have 14 minutes to go. Columbia now has 30 points against Colgate's 135.
And I got a 30-point bonus in the offing. Here's the toss-up. On February 1st, 1702, an Irish brigade rushed out to resist an Austrian attack on Cremona. Now, for 10 points, why were the Irish extremely embarrassed? You know, takers? Well, I'm going to be delighted to tell you, because they were literally caught with their pants down and went to battle without first stopping to dress. Conan Doyle wrote, "One favor we entreat, we were called a little early and our toilet's not complete. We've no quarrel with the shirt, but the breeches wouldn't hurt, for the evening air is chilly in Cremona." That's Conan Doyle. It sounds like Cole Porter. Here we go with another toss-up. The bonus is worth 30 points in the offing. Here's the toss-up. Achilles killed Hector. For 10 points, who killed Achilles? Colgate.
Peter Gould. Paris.
Paris and Homer's Iliad, right for 10 points. Okay, Colgate, here's your 30-point bonus. Lady Godiva came from Coventry, England. Don Quixote from La Mancha, Spain. And for a quick 5 points apiece, now I want you to tell me the hometown of Homer's Helen.
Helen, she was from Sparta.
Right for 5 points. Right for 5 points. The hometown of South Pacific's Nellie Forbush.
Iowa. Little Rock, Arkansas.
Iowa. It was in Iowa somewhere.
What was that? Little Rock, Arkansas. Right for 5 points. Of Macaulay's Lars Porsena.
Oh, Lars Porsena from Clusium.
From Clusium, Italy. Right for 5. Oh, I had no idea you'd get that. Of Kipling's Puck.
Kipling's who?
Puck.
Pook's Hill.
Pook's Hill, right for 5 points. My goodness. Of Sinclair Lewis's Dodsworth.
Conference, Alan. A short one.
Indian.
Go ahead, Jim.
No conference on these 5-pointers. Zenith. Of the Great Casey.
The great kid Mudville.
Mudville, right for 5 points.
Hold it, Alan. That's the halftime whistle, which calls right now for a 1-minute timeout in our proceedings.
Okay, first, before we have a 1-minute timeout, may I remind you that each week in Good Housekeeping magazine, you'll find a page of college quiz bowl questions. Now, for a chance to match your wits with our collegiate champions, I suggest that you see the March issue of Good Housekeeping magazine. You know, Good Housekeeping also awards the $500 weekly cash prize that goes to the college of the winning team here in our Radio College Quiz Bowl. Now let's take out a minute and talk to these teams. First, let's talk to the challengers tonight up at Columbia University. Gentlemen, I want to find out what you major in and how you're classified at Columbia. Sheldon Wolf, what's your major?
Chemistry, sir.
Are you a senior?
That's right.
Fine. Your plans upon graduation?
I'm going to go into Columbia Medical School.
Good. Milburn Smith, how are you classified?
I'm a junior.
Your major?
I'm an English major.
But upon graduation?
Well, my plans are uncertain.
What do you think they'll be?
Well, I don't know. I'd like to write.
Good. I hope you do. Tom Evans, how are you classified, sir?
I'm a senior at Columbia.
Plans upon graduation?
Well, I'm going to go to medical school at Cincinnati.
Good. In Cincinnati?
That's right.
Oh, that's your home, isn't it? That's right. Jerry Pomper, how are you classified there?
I'm a senior, and I'm majoring in government.
And your plans upon graduation?
I expect to go to graduate school and later to teach.
Later to teach. Always glad to hear about teachers to be. Okay. Now going out to Colgate University, up to Colgate University to talk. Paul Schmidt, I got to talk to you now. I want to find out what all this business about Colgate University and the number 13 is. What does it mean?
Well, it's a long tradition here at Colgate, Alan. You see, the university was founded in 1819 by 13 men who donated $13, said 13 prayers, and donated 13 books. So that was the beginning of the university, and ever since then, the number 13 has been our big number. The singing group on campus is called the 13, and it's used all over the campus. It's our magic number, so to speak.
That's very interesting. Any other way that it's used? Is there any kind of, is it a symbol for your teams and that sort of thing?
Yeah,
well, every week before our big football game with Syracuse, the freshman class builds a bonfire that's 3 times 13 feet high.
Oh, man. Okay, that's very interesting. Colgate is a fine school with a fine tradition. Now, it seems to me that it's about time for the timeout period to be up, and it is. There's our whistle, so let's get back to the quiz.
Right, Alan, and with the score, Colgate 170, Columbia 30, and we have 9.5 minutes to go. Back to another toss-up question.
All right, a 20-point bonus is in the offing. Here's your toss-up. A mud puppy is a salamander. For 10 points, what's a hush puppy? Colgate.
Paul Schmidt.
Well, that's made in the South, Alan. It's cornmeal fried in oil. That's
right.
bread,
That's right, and you're from Hudson, New York. What do you know? A kind of fried cake made of cornmeal. All right, you got, Paul, you got a 20-point bonus for Colgate. You have heard it asked, I'm sure, which is heavier, a pound of feathers or a pound of gold? Now, for 20 points, Colgate, I want you to explain why, under normal circumstances, a pound of feathers actually weighs more than a pound of gold.
Will you do that, Marty?
Yes, gold is measured under a different weight. I think it's called the Troy weight, which only gives 12 ounces to the pound. The pound of feathers is measured under regular weight, which is 16 ounces to the pound. Therefore, gold is short 4 ounces on that pound, and is...
You know what? You know what you got, Marty? You got a better answer there than I have here. That's very good. Okay, I got a 30-point musical bonus coming up. Here's your toss-up. Epidermis and incisors are mentioned in the title of a 20th century play. For 10 points, Colgate.
Paul Schmidt.
That's by Thornton Wilder, The Skin of Our Teeth.
That is the full answer for 10 points. I was asked what is the play, and it's Thornton Wilder's Skin of Our Teeth. Okay, Colgate. Now, you know, you've heard of Walla Walla and Mau Mau. There are several examples in music of one words being repeated and becoming a title. Here's a 30-point musical bonus. Now, for instance, Pachi Pachi from Verdi's La Forza del Destino and Can Can from Can Can. You got the idea?
Yeah, we got it.
I'm going to play 3 selections, and your job for 10 points apiece is to tell us the name. First, the name of this one. Do I hear anything? Vieni Veni. All right. What is the title of this one? From opera, I'll give you that much.
Oh, that's Baccio Ben Mazzetto from Don Giovanni. Giovanni by Mozart.
That's the full thing again. I would have taken Batti Batti. That's good for 10 points. Man. Who is that? Is that,
That was Paul Schmidt, Al.
Paul Schmidt. Man, all right. What's the name of this one, as if you don't know? Tico, right, for a giveaway 10 points. Here we go now. Coming up is a 20-point bonus coming up. Here's your toss-up. J.P. Morgan, not the singer, the financier. J.P. Morgan, using financial parlance, once said, "Never be a bear on the United States." For 10 points, what's the modern and more familiar variation of this quotation? Columbia.
Jerry Pomper.
It might be Go Fight City Hall.
No, can you take it, Colgate?
Marty, don't sell America short.
Right, for 10 points. Don't sell America short. Okay, you got a 20-point bonus by holding your shine there, Colgate. For 20 points, listen to this. I want what area and activity. I want the area and the activity that you associate with the names Shackleton, Ellsworth, and Wilkins.
Go ahead, Peter.
That's the South Pole and Antarctica, and they were all explorers of that continent.
Oh, boy, you got an answer again, better than I have right here. No, it's not. Nancy Fold says no, it's not. They were all explorers, and they explored Antarctica and the Arctic. And that's as good as that. All right. I didn't want to offend Nancy. She wrote it. All right. Here we go now. We got a 20-point bonus that you could, if you're good on sports, work into a 40-point bonus. So here's the toss-up that might earn it for you. According to Greek mythology, King Cadmus was a pretty good horticulturist. Now, for 10 points, what odd kind of seed did he plant? Colgate.
Paul Schmidt.
He planted dragon's teeth.
That's right, for 10 points. You know what he got out of planting dragon's teeth, Paul?
What, Alan?
What did he get for planting it? What grew?
The soldiers. Army of soldiers.
A fully armed army of soldiers, right. Okay, now listen. Colgate, one of the outstanding events, as I'm sure you know, in any major outdoor track and field meet is a decathlon. You're going to earn 20 points, Colgate, if you can name 6 of the 10 events which comprise a decathlon.
Okay.
And 40 points if you can name all 10 of them. Now, take it easy and let me keep up here.
Okay.
Pole vault,
shot put,
javelin, high jump, discus,
1,500 meters, 100 meters, 400 meters, 120 high hurdles. How many do we have, Alan?
You have all but one, 2. All but, what, 2? Yeah.
broad jump, Alan.
broad jump?
High jump?
Yeah, running broad jump, right?
High jump?
What did I hear?
We've got, did we have high jump?
You have read 100-meter run, 400-meter run, 1,500-meter run, running high jump, running broad jump, pole vault, shot put, javelin, and discus. One missing. I haven't heard this.
No, it's not a race.
It's,
Would it be 200 hurdles? 200
No, 110-meter high hurdle. I'm sorry.
It's the hammer throw.
I'll give you, no, the hammer throw's not here. I'll give you a 20 points on that. You missed 110-meter high hurdle.
He said 120.
Did he say high hurdle?
I said high hurdle. He said 120.
Yeah, but he didn't say the high hurdle, did he?
Yes, I did. I said high hurdle.
If you say you did it, I'll take it, because I heard 120, though, didn't you?
120, right.
That's the high hurdles.
That's the high hurdle. Okay, you're going to give it to him? All right, 40 points. You got it all down. Here we go. Here we go with a 20-point bonus. Man, what a score you're racking up, Colgate. Here's your toss-up. For 10 points, tell us, where did Captain Wadsworth hide what from Edmund Andros? No takers? He hid the Connecticut Charter in Charter Oak Tree. That's the answer to that one. Okay, here we go down to the toss-up. Still in the offing, a 20-point bonus. A porgy's a fish. A panda's a mammal. For 10 points, what is a panjandrum? Colgate.
Jim Wachtel.
Flower.
Can you take it, Columbia? A panjandrum. Columbia. No takers, it's a mammal, it's a human being. It's a powerful or pretentious official, they say. All right? A 20-point bonus in the offing. Here's your toss-up. Minerva was born from Zeus's brow. For 10 points, Who, according to French literature, was born from his mother's left ear? Columbia.
We've got a couple of fellas here. Mildred Smith.
That would be Gargantua.
That's right, for 10 points. Mildred Smith. All right, you got a 20-point bonus here, Columbia. You know, everyone knows that the sun rises in the east and sets in the west. But for 20 points, in what place in the Western Hemisphere does the sun rise in the Pacific and set in the Atlantic Ocean? Anybody? What did I hear?
Panama.
Panama, right. The Isthmus of Panama. That is right, and you got now a 20-point bonus coming up. Here's your toss-up for 10 points. What three things did the signers of the Declaration of Independence mutually pledge to each other? Columbia.
Jerry Pumper.
Our lives, our fortunes, and our sacred honor.
Right, for 10 points. Okay, here we go with a 20-point bonus, Columbia. For 20 points, tell us. Columbia, in literature, what object is described in the following words? 'Tis a rock, a crag, a cape. A cape? Rather a peninsula.
Cyrano's nose.
Cyrano's nose for 20 points, Columbia. Here we go with another 20-point bonus coming up. And a toss-up in the offing. Here it is. Aristophanes' Lysistrata was first produced as a play about 2,000 years ago. Now, for 10 points, why has it been in the news recently? Columbia.
And Jerry Pumper.
The post office has said that it would burn an antique copy of this book that has been sent through the mails.
All right, it's banned it from the mails because it's certainly, they think it's libidinous, okay? Here's your 20-point bonus, Columbia, by getting the right answer. That was a current events question. 20 points. If you can tell us why the following time is a happy time. 4:36 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. You know, Columbia?
Take a guess at it.
The sun rises at that time.
No, it's coming very soon. It's the time on March 21st when spring officially arrives.
Alan, that's it. The bonus is over, and also the game is over for this week. The final score in the College Quiz Bowl tonight is 100 points for Columbia University and 310 points for the winner, Colgate University. To each member of the Columbia University team, it's our pleasure to award an attractive and dependable Whitnor wristwatch, a distinguished member of the Longines Whitnor family of fine watches. Since 1866, makers of watches of the highest character. For fielding the winning team tonight, Colgate University will receive a $500 gift from Good Housekeeping magazine to be administered by the college. And these varsity scholars from Colgate will return next week to compete in this new All-American quiz game with the varsity scholars of Cornell University in Ithaca, New York. In the meantime, to try your hand at more of these questions, read the Quiz Bowl page in the March issue of Good Housekeeping magazine. Here once again, your master of the quiz, Alan Ludden.
I want to congratulate Colgate, and I want to say to the four men from Columbia, Sheldon Wolf, Melbourne Smith, Tom Evans, and Jerry Pomper, you did a good job. It's been great having Columbia University here in the College Quiz Bowl. Now, next week, Colgate meets a very close rival, Cornell. And the following week, we'll have varsity scholars here from Duke University in Durham, North Carolina. So, won't you be with us again next week and every week for an exciting quiz game here in the College Quiz Bowl? Now, this is Alan Ludden urging you to be with us again next week and wishing you all a very good evening.
Your referees tonight were for Colgate University, Bob Whitney of station WSYR in Syracuse, and for Columbia University, Fred Collins of station WRCA in New York City. College Quiz Bowl is a transcribed NBC Radio Network presentation, originated and produced by John Moses and Don Reed. Written by Nancy Forbes and was directed by Ken McGregor. This is Roger Tuttle speaking.
That broken-down theme song introduces another session of Are You a Genius? Presented for the American Armed Forces and their allies, and conducted by the master half-wit, the genius who set record lows in every Army classification test, the star of this show, Mel Blanc. That's me, fellas. Who done that? Are you a genius? This is a simple game. All you need is a pencil and paper and a few right answers. I ask a question, then comes music for a half a minute or so, and then I give the correct answer. Each correct answer is worth a certain number of points. I'll give you the value of each question as we go along, and your genius rating is your total score. Everybody understand how to play the game? All root. In this session, we have 6 questions, all total to 100 points. All right, students, let's take advantage of this opportunity to improve ourselves. After all, where else can you learn English, geography, history, and how to make boxcars the hard way? So sit back on your curriculums, and I'll make with the first question. Curriculums, grand word. This one is about the history of American aviation and gets you 15 points to start with. Here it is. In 1911, Galbraith P. Rogers made the first transcontinental airplane flight. It took 50 days with 68 stops, 11 accidents, and 7 wrecks. Today's accepted speed record for transcontinental flight is 7 hours, 28 minutes, and 25 seconds. Who made this record in 1937? 15 points if you can give the name of the man who holds the speed record for transcontinental flight.
Come Josephine in my flying machine. Come Josephine in my flying machine. Come Josephine. Come Josephine.
Oh, a P-28!
Look out! Right to the candy store. Gee, that kid was really flying low.
Okay, did you think of his name? It was Howard Hughes. He still holds the American transcontinental flight record, which he established in 1937. Take the first 15 points for your genius score if you remember that the man's name is Howard Hughes. You know, I took a ride the other day with an Army pilot in a new speed plane called the Bullet. We flew just 20 feet above the ground at a speed of 850 miles an hour.
How did it affect you, Mel?
Well, if you've ever washed a sock and wrung it out by hand, that's how my neck looked when I got back. They had to unwind my head like a watch. Oh, but I was a fool. I tried to read the signboards.
Boy, does that blank exaggerate. You can't believe a thing he says.
Who can?
Nobody.
Ah, shit it. Here we go, kids. Quick as a flash at the second question. This one gets you 10 points if you have a fair knowledge of musicians' jive, the slanguage of swing. It's in 2 parts, and each part that you get right is worth 5 points. Here it is. What 2 instruments would a dance band musician be talking about if he told you that he could play a squeeze box and a dog house? 5 points apiece. What kind of an instrument is a squeeze box, and what is the ordinary name for what a swing musician calls a dog house? Have to get that last stop fixed. Okay, here's where you get 10 points if you got both parts right. What a dance band musician calls a squeeze box is an accordion, and a doghouse is a bass fiddle. 5 points apiece for the correct answers. A squeeze box is an accordion, and a doghouse is a bass fiddle. You know, I used to play an accordion. I studied for 6 months, and at the end of that time, I couldn't play a thing. But I had the only stomach in town with pleats.
What am I laughing for? It hurts.
Well, I finally got a job in a nightclub. You should have seen that joint. It was the smallest nightclub I've ever seen. Every time the trombone player reached out for a low note, he dragged 2 more customers in off the sidewalk. Yep, the manager of the club didn't like the way I played, but it was always very smoky in there, and the accordion was the only air conditioning he could afford. Where was I? Oh, yes, shoot $2 or any part. No, that wasn't it. I'm sure that wasn't it. I haven't got $2. Oh, the question. Yes, I forgot. All ready for the third query? Goody. This one is also about airplanes and gets you 15 points if you come up with the right retort. Here it is. If you've ever watched an airplane in flight, you know that as the plane gains altitude, it gradually appears smaller to the eye. But does the shadow of an airplane grow smaller as the plane gains altitude? 15 points if you know the correct answer. Does the shadow of an aeroplane in the air grow smaller as the plane gains altitude?
Oh, Rio, I'm flying down to Rio. Oh, Rio, I'm flying down to Rio.
How did that get in there?
Oh, Rio, I'm flying down to Rio.
Nasty sounding motor, what? All right, kids, you can stop arguing, because here's the right answer. The shadow of an aeroplane does not get smaller as the plane gains altitude. The shadow remains the same, because the sun's rays are parallel. Take 15 points for your score if you said that the shadow of an aeroplane in the air does not get smaller as the plane gains altitude, but remains the same. My mother-in-law saw her shadow the other day for the first time and went back into the ground for 6 weeks. Brother, is she homely? But she's a wonderful woman. I keep telling her as she twists my arm. Let go, more! Here we are at question number 4. This one nets a goodly 15 points if you should happen to know the answer. But if you don't, you'll learn something very important and worthwhile. This is it. In military abbreviations, what do the letters USAFI mean? For 15 points, what do the letters USAFI stand for? Did you know the answer to that? If you did, you've got another 15 points for your score. But if you didn't, here is where you learn something. USAFI stands for the United States Armed Forces Institute, the official War and Navy Department school. Through the correspondence and self-teaching courses of this school, you can learn almost any subject you choose. There are over 100 different high school and college courses that are open to all in the service. So if you want to improve yourself in your service job and prepare for a better civilian job after the war, here's what to do. Better get a pencil and write this down. If you want to know more about these courses by mail, write to Commandant USAFI in your area. Here are the addresses. Central Pacific Area Branch, APO 958. APO 958. European Area Branch, APO 887. APO 887. Middle East Branch, APO 787. APO 787. If you are in any other theater, write to USAFI, Madison 3, Wisconsin. Madison 3, Wisconsin. Well, goodness gracious, bless my soul, if the very next pop out of the box isn't a real double peachy surprise. Oh, happy me. Listen, fellas, do you crave the better things in life? Do you have a poetic soul that cries out for expression? Do you like the higher type of classical music? Then listen. Are you still listening? This instrument is known as the cigar box fiddle. It's a sort of a musical infiltration course. Today, with the help and assistance of Joe the bartender, playing the piano, I am going to play 3 songs, and each of them have something to do with the word Hart. You get 10 points apiece for the ones you guess right. Okay, here's the first Hart song. That was Deep in My Heart, played without a rehearsal and without even coming close to the melody. However, if you recognize it as Deep in My Heart, you have the first 10 of the 30 points available on this question. And here is the next song that has something to do with the heart. The name of that one is Nobody's Sweetheart. If you guessed it, you can take another 10 points, and here is the last Hart tune. This one is a little on the higher class side than the last one, and I'll give you the hint that it was written by Rogers and Hart, who never suspected that we were going to get a hold of it. And the title of that tune is With a Song in My Heart. Take the last 10 points for the musical memory quiz if you knew With a Song in My Heart. Get ready now for the last puzzler in this session. 15 points if you get this one right. It's about horseback riding. Why do I always chunk those things in, do you know? On which side of a horse is it proper to mount? The right or the left? Which side of a horse is the proper side to mount from? The horse's right or left side? Boy, we can make a production out of it. Ooh! Who threw that? Cut it out! Well, kids, that should have been enough time for you to get the answer. We stalled for you, boys. The proper side of a horse from which to mount is the left side. That's right. To get on a horse properly, you mount on the horse's left side. And that was worth 15 points if you said that. You know, I went out to a dude ranch once for my vacation, and everybody had to dress like a cowboy. I put on a pair of chaps, and I nearly froze to death. Nobody told me you were supposed to wear pants with them.
Oh, stop it, Mel, you silly, silly boy. Be serious. How do you expect these fellows to look up to you if you keep lying there on the floor?
Okay, I'll get up. I can take a hint. Come on, hurry up now. Add up those scores, kiddies, and see how close you came to getting 100 points. The score that is perfect and makes you smart like me. Oh, a bell. Well, men, this is Mel Blanc, the old marblehead, saying adios and telling you to send in some questions, if you think of any, to Are You a Genius, Armed Forces Radio, Los Angeles, USA. Thanks, kids. Oh, yes, and another thing. Don't, whatever you do, don't miss the next chapter of this thrilling and delightful saga of life in the raw. What happens to Sidney the student? Do you think his parents should give up the idea of his being a child prodigy now that he has reached the age of 38? This and more will be answered in our next installment. Are You a Genius is produced by the Armed Forces Radio Service.
Information, please. Presented each week at this time by Canada Dry, famous the world over for its fine beverages. Wake up, America. Time to stump the experts. Every week at this time, Canada Dry gives you a chance to turn the tables on the authorities at a profit. Here's how it's done. You may submit from 1 to 3 original questions per letter. If your question is used, you receive $5 and $10 additional if it stumps the board. So you may win $15 in all. Don't worry if our editorial staff changes or edits your question slightly. All questions become the property of Information, please. Letters with questions are to be addressed to Canada Dry, 1 Pershing Square, New York City. And now may I present our Master of Ceremonies, Mr. Clifton Fadiman, literary critic of the New Yorker magazine. Mr. Fadiman.
Thank you, Mr. Cross. Ladies and gentlemen, Information, please, week after week, pursues its happy-go-lucky way, unrehearsed and uninhibited. This evening, our unrehearsable and uninhibitable quartet consists of 4 bulging brows. Our 2 old hands are on the job, ready to be put on the spot. First, John Curran, to whom we may apply Dante's phrase about Aristotle. That all right with you, Mr. Curran?
I hope so.
Master of those who know. And second, Franklin P. Adams, columnist of the New York Post. Third, we have Rex Stout, creator of the Nero Wolfe mysteries. And fourth, Moss Hart, co-author of You Can't Take It With You, The American Way, and numerous other Broadway smash hits. Now remember, my fine feathered experts, to raise your hands if you think you know the answer. And if you miss, Canada Dry's cheerful cash register rings up $10, and out goes a crisp new bill to the fortunate questioner. We're off. The first one comes from Helen Roujon of the Bronx, and she asks you to relapse for the moment into your first childhood, gentlemen. Just go back 30, 40 years.
Oh, nonsense.
27 for you,
Thank
Mr.
you.
Hart. And I'm going to ask you to complete for me the following childhood chants. You've all had childhoods. I'll do the chanting, and you do the responding. It's raining, it's pouring. Mr. Kieran.
The old man is snoring.
Very good. Second. I love coffee, I love tea.
I had no childhood, just...
Leave you out of this?
Well,
Mr.
if I
Hart?
guess it, I'll guess it.
Mr. Adams.
Some about a little brown jug.
Not a bit of it. Not a bit of it. I love coffee, I love tea, Mr. Stout.
I love you if you love me.
I love the boys and the boys love me. That is the proper answer. I'm sorry, I have to count that wrong, though it was a nice attempt, Mr. Stout. Get 4 out of 5 on this. Third, I asked my mother for 50 cents. Mr. Kieran.
To see the elephant jump the fence.
Ah, you've had a real childhood, Mr. Kieran. No more pencils, no more books.
No more
Mr.
teacher's
Hart.
nasty looks.
That's right. You knew that one, didn't you?
That I knew.
Dirty.
It's often...
Dirty looks, yes, that's right.
Often sassy. Take
I
your
had-
choice of
I had
sassy,
nasty
dirty, or
teachers.
nasty. 5 and last. Tell your mama to hold her tongue. Tell your mama to hold her tongue.
We never said that.
You were brought up
When
in a
you
nice
were
neighborhood.
young.
When I was young.
All nice boys brought up in nice neighborhoods. Look what they turned out to be. Well, the answer is she had a fellow when she was young.
Ah.
She had a fellow when she was young. How far back do you suppose in history these childhood chants go? Any idea? I haven't.
About an hour and a half.
I know it's new to you, Mr. Adams. I think they're very, very old. Many of them go back to similar chants in Old England in the 14th and 15th centuries.
I thought they were Bronx chants.
They're Bronx now. They've been transferred to the Bronx, but they had an English origin in most cases. But we got only 3 out of 5 on that. That's going to cost Canada Dry $10. I like to begin that way, gentlemen. What can we do with the second, coming from Miss Birdsall Robb of Quebec, Canada? In what books, plays, or movies are the following stolen? First, an antique handkerchief embroidered with strawberries. You couldn't ask me to be more specific than that. It's a play. Mr. Kieran.
Well, I didn't see it, but maybe that's in Othello.
It is in Othello. Very good, Mr. Kieran. That's quite right. All right. In what book, play, or movie is a piece of beef stolen? Mr. Kieran.
Well, that's in the old nursery rhyme. Taffy came to my house and stole a piece of beef.
That's right. It really isn't a book, play, or movie. Or maybe it's been transferred to the screen, has it? I don't think so. Mr. Hart?
No, not that I
It's
know.
not a bad plot. It's not a bad plot.
I'll
Not a
take
bad
it.
plot. Eddie Robinson picture. 3, a prince. In what play is a prince stolen? Mr. Adams.
Gondoliers.
The Gondoliers by Gilbert and Sullivan. Very good. In what book, play, or movie are a sheet, a pewter spoon, 6 candles, and a shirt stolen? Can you remember all that? Mr. Adams.
The Prince and the Pauper.
No, you've got the right author, but you have the wrong book. I'll give you 10% credit on that.
Huckleberry Finn.
Huckleberry Finn is the right answer, Mr. Stout, when Huckleberry Finn and Tom are planning to rescue Jim. Sorry you came in late on that.
It
Or
is
rather,
too
I'm
bad.
sorry you came in so early, Mr. Adams. In what book, play, or movie are 4 dead men stolen or otherwise removed?
I'm not
Mr. Hart.
sure. I think it's a slight case of murder.
Yes, it's a slight case of murder starring Eddie Robinson. That's quite correct. We got 3 out of... No, we got 4. We got 3 out of 4 on that, which is quite correct. The next question from Mr. Don Lane of Washington, D.C. Oh, I like this one. I like this one. I'm going to ask you, gentlemen, each of you in turn, sit back in your chair, Mr. Adams, that's right, kindly to give the name of your present United States Congressman and the number of the congressional district in which you reside. something I think that every American citizen should know. And as the boys puzzle their brains, trying to, in the first place, remember the congressman, and second place, trying to remember where they reside, I'm going to ask the audience listening in to try to remember the names of their congressmen and the number of their congressional district. I'll begin with you, Mr. Kieran. Mr. John Kieran, do you live at 4506 Riverdale Avenue, Bronx, New
That's
York?
right.
And your congressman is?
Buckley.
Charles A. Buckley, correct. And your district is?
23rd.
Very good. Very good. If the others do as well. And Mr. Buckley's politics, Mr. Kieran?
Very Democrat.
Very Democrat. All right. Mr. Franklin P. Adams, do you reside, live, and otherwise inhabit the town of Westport, Con?
Weston, Con.
I beg pardon? Weston. And your congressman? You have a congressman, Mr. Adams? I don't mean a personal congressman all for yourself.
I don't know.
You don't? Are you surprised that you don't know?
I know who represents us in Hartford. Willis Banks.
Well, it's nice to get a little plug for Mr. Willis Banks, but unfortunately that's not the answer to the question. The answer is Albert E. Austin. And in what district do you live, Mr. Adams? What congressional district?
First district.
No, fourth. You're only 3 out. And do you know whether the Honorable Mr. Austin is a Republican or a Democrat?
He's a Republican.
He's a Republican. You got that right. That's one wrong. Now, Mr. Moss Hart, do you reside at the Waldorf Astoria Towers, New York City?
Mm-hmm.
What floor? Because this may affect our answer.
That doesn't affect the congressman.
You don't think so? No. Do you know who your congressman is? Very well-known congressman. Been receiving a great deal of publicity lately. Never mind, Mr. Adams. Mr. Hart has to answer this question. Mr. Hart, I'm sorry.
This is a stab. Bruce Barton.
Bruce Barton is correct. And your district is?
50th Street and Park Avenue.
Yes. Would you like to pick a number?
I don't.
It's the ace of spades. 17th district. 17th district.
Well, that's the silk stocking.
Yes, it is, and you should know that, Mr. Hart.
Yeah, right on.
And now, Mr. Rex Stout, do you live at High Meadow, Brewster, New York?
Yes.
Your congressman is?
Hamilton Fish.
Junior, yes. And what district?
Mine.
Is it generally known as Stout district?
He represents my district, Mr.
President. I know he. You would like to give me a little more information in the way of a number. Just pick a number. Pick a number.
I think he could tell you.
Well, the answer is the 26th district. Apparently, the congressmen, at least for 2 of the gentlemen here, are the men nobody knows. 2 out of 4, not good enough. $10 going to Mr. Lane, courtesy of Canada Dry. Thanks. Tough question. I hope everybody listening knows the answer and knows who their congressman is in their district.
How I got that, I don't know.
I don't know.
No,
Sheer genius.
He
Mr.
gave it
Hart.
to you.
Yes, he did. Yes,
Telepathy.
he did.
Telepathy. The next question from Mr. J. Bellis of St. Louis, Missouri, involves a knowledge of the stage and the movies. Under what circumstances did Ethel Barrymore sell petticoats? There are going to be 5 of these. I'm going to ask for 4 out of 5. Mr. Adams.
In Edna Ferber's play, Emma McChesney.
Yes, Our Mrs. McChesney, I think it was called in
Our
its play
Mrs.
form.
McChesney.
That's quite correct. Under what circumstances did Betty Lawford take a bath in public? Mr. Hart seems to know that immediately. I beg pardon?
In the Women.
In the Women.
Claire
yes.
Booth's play.
Very good.
It was a bubble bath.
It was. How did she get those bubbles? Do you know? I've always wanted to know.
The stagehands made them off stage.
Oh, off stage. I'm glad to know that.
See it. Good deal.
Yes. Under what circumstances did Andrea Leeds commit suicide? Mr. Hart again.
That was in the picture, Stage Door.
In the screen version of Stage Door. Very good. Under what circumstances did Claudette Colbert steal artichokes? Steal artichokes. Mr. Stout.
When she was hungry.
Yes.
I know.
That's very quick wit. But,
I know.
Mr. Hart.
In Tavares.
In Tavares.
In the
screen,
picture.
In the screen version of Tavares. Very good. We're all right on this one. We've got 4 out of 5. Here's the 5th. Under what circumstances did Leslie Howard read poetry in a hash house? Mr. Hart again.
In The Petrified Forest.
Yes, in both the screen and stage
And
version.
stage, yes.
Mr. Hart, I'm glad to see you paying so much favorable attention to the work of your contemporaries.
Thank you.
You don't mind if I call them your contemporaries?
Not
do you?
at all.
Sounds so much better than colleagues. Contemporaries seem to last longer somehow. The next question from Mr. H.
Sounds
Williams.
better than predecessors, too, Mr. Fadden.
Doesn't it, though, Mr. Stout? The next question from Mr. H. Williams of Dallas, Texas, involves your knowledge of botany.
Oh, that's fine.
Well, you want to get out of this, Mr. Hart?
I may leave.
All right, now you just get out. Now, I'll probably get Mr. Kieran and Mr. Adams coming in on this. And Mr. Stout, I know, is a gardener. How are the edible parts of the following classified by botanists? For example, celery would be classified as a stem or stalk, or as a musical overture to a dinner, usually. How would you classify tomato or tomato? Pick one out of two. Mr. Kieran.
Well, some people call it a fruit, and others call it a vegetable. I call it a fruit myself.
I call it a fruit myself, too. That's 2 against the other people. Fruit is correct. It is, in fact, a berry, isn't it?
Yes, a form of berry.
A sort of berry that's gone through an inflationary period. Coconut. How would you classify coconut? Mr. Stout.
Coconut is a seed.
Coconut, I am afraid, is not a seed, precisely.
Botanically? No?
No, not botanically. A fruit. It would be classified as a fruit by a botanist.
A weapon.
Because it began as a seed. But let's give it the benefit of its maturity. How would you classify a cucumber? A cucumber?
Indigestible. For me.
We call that literary criticism, Mr. Hart, rather than botanical knowledge. Cucumber would be classified, Mr. Kieran, as...
Well, it's a subterranean seed pod.
Subterranean seed pod. Well, you don't expect me to argue that with you.
Well, it certainly is.
If I called it a fruit, would that get by you?
That'd be all right.
All right. I think subterranean seed pod sounds dandy to me.
He buries them before he eats them, Mr. Fadden.
How would you classify a cauliflower? Mr. Stout.
It's a flower.
As a flower. That didn't fool you, did it?
No, that was easy.
And how would you classify, finally, those little things that they give you in Chinese restaurants? You know those little things entirely surrounded by wrinkles? Lychee nuts? Mr. Stout? How would you classify
I maintain that both the coconut and the lychee nut are seeds. Of course, the lychee nut is a dried fruit, I suppose.
Yes.
But
would you stop there, and then I can count you right?
I'll stop.
Very well. 4 out of 5 on that. We can come back to this after a while if it still worries you, Mr. Stout. I quite agree that my botanical knowledge is inferior to yours. So far, Canada Dry announces a loss of $20. Now, perhaps Canada Dry's own expert would like to ease the tension. Mr. Cross, the microphone.
Thank you, Mr. Fadiman. One of the most painfully realistic scenes in modern drama appears in the play You Can't Take It With You, written in collaboration by one of this evening's experts, Mr. Morse Hart. When the Kirbys call unexpectedly, the Sycamores have nothing in the house to offer them in the way of refreshment. Great panic ensues. Fortunately, in real life, we need not be unprepared when guests appear without warning. For many weeks, I've been suggesting that you keep Canada Dry ginger ale and sparkling Canada Dry water on hand for emergencies of this kind. Everybody likes this fine club soda because it gives extra life and sparkle to their favorite drink. And everyone enjoys a glass of Canada Dry ginger ale, for it picks you up, aids digestion, and refreshes inwardly, or in a word, it's gingervating. So don't be a sycamore. Don't allow yourself to be caught without refreshments when unexpected guests drop in. Put Canada Dry, the champagne of ginger ales, and sparkling Canada Dry water on your shopping list tomorrow.
Spoken like a Barrymore, Mr. Cross. And clocked in exactly 65 seconds. We'll go on with the program and ask a question sent in by Mr. Edgar Dannenberg of this city. 5 parts, get all of them. Mention a song which you might dedicate to each of the following people. An undertaker. Let's start from the bottom. An undertaker. Mr. Adams.
More work for the undertaker.
Yes, that's very good. A good old song. How about another one, Mr. Hart?
Jeepers Creepers.
Jeepers Creepers. Very good. Any other suggestions, Mr. Kieran? Allow that ghoulish imagination of yours free play, Mr. Kieran.
Well, there's one called Bury Me Not on the Lone Prairie.
That would be all right. Get Out and Get Under might be one possible.
Yes.
By making trigger. Very good, very good. How about a chiropodist? What song would you dedicate to a chiropodist? Mr. Adams.
5 little fingers and 5 little toes. 10 little fingers and 10 little toes.
And that's all now. We got to stop at 10. Yes, that's right. 10 little fingers and 10 little toes. Another one? Yes, Mr. Hart.
I've got you under my skin.
Say that. Very good. Mr. Stout.
My hero's got clay feet.
Fantasy is flying free this evening. May I throw one in? Way down yonder in the cornfield.
Oh, no.
A banker. What song would you dedicate to a banker?
A what?
A banker. A banker. You must have met a banker, Mr. Hart, at one time or other. On the wrong end of the wicket, usually, Mr.
There's
Hart.
a song called Hold Tight. Right.
That's a very good one. Very good one, Mr. Hart. Any other suggestions? Mr. Adams.
The Banks of the Wabash.
I'll let that in, though I hate to do it. Any other suggestions? Mr.
A Diller a
Adams?
Dollar.
Diller a Dollar, yes. Liberty
Man Who
League, it's
Broke the
time to
Bank
ring
at
again,
Monte-
might be another one. What did you say, Mr.
The Man
Hart?
Who Broke the Bank at Monte Carlo.
That's right. It was a theme song for what? Where did that song appear?
The Bowery. No, it was in a play on the... It was
In a
produced
play.
on the Bowery,
Yes,
but
a
it's a
long time
different
ago.
song.
All right, what song would you dedicate to a fireman? A fireman? That's a rather easy one. A fireman. Mr. Hart.
Get Hot.
Get Hot.
There's
All right.
a song called Get Hot.
Yes, there is. Certainly. I'm
That
trying
old
it,
nursery
Mr.
song,
Stout.
Scotland's Burning.
Very nice, Mr. Stout. Let's have a couple more. Mr. Adams.
Another one called Fireman Save My Child.
I knew you'd remember that one, Mr. Adams. It takes you back, doesn't it? How about Mother, 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 Turn a Hose on Me? You don't like that. All right, we'll throw that one out. A football player. Mr. Kieran, we ought to get one from you on this. Dedicate a song to a football player. What song?
Sticks and stones will break my bones.
That's what we call a nursery chant. You learned that 15 minutes ago. Not precisely a song. Mr. Stout.
The same old pig in the parlor. That's rather cryptic. Pigskin, football.
Cryptic. You think that's cryptic? That's ultra cryptic.
Oh, okay.
Ultra super cryptic. How about another one? Mr. Kieran.
Please go away and let me sleep.
Football player, well, maybe some of those you've seen. Well, they got 5 out of 5 on that. The next one comes from a very eminent author, indeed, Mr. Upton Sinclair of Pasadena, California. Full of famous people tonight. I want you to name 5 characters from the Old Testament, and I want you to state what each did to deserve the description here given. And you're going to get 5 out of 5, or I'll know the reason why. I will probably know the reason why. The most soluble character from the Old Testament. Mr. Adams.
Lot's wife.
Why?
She turned to salt.
Yeah, turn to a pillar of salt. Let me have the chemical formula, Mr. Adams, for salt.
NaCl.
Very good, very good. Very easy. The most indigestible. The most indigestible. Mr. Hart.
You wouldn't go back to songs, huh?
Well, that's the last question. I'd like to indulge you.
Nebuchadnezzar?
Most indigestible. He himself was not indigestible, I shouldn't think,
grass.
would you?
Yes, he ate grass, is what
Yes,
I
but
meant.
he himself was not indigestible. Mr. Adams.
Jonah.
Jonah, yes, terribly indigestible. Lived in the whale's belly. The great discomfort of the whale. Now, who was the strictest vegetarian?
Nebuchadnezzar.
Very good, Mr. Hart. Very good, Mr. Hart.
Already had it.
Nebuchadnezzar, who did eat grass as oxen. And the outstanding monopolist of the Old Testament. The outstanding monopolist. Mr. Kieran.
Joseph.
Why do you say that?
Because he gathered up all the crops in Egypt.
Yes.
And
and stored them for 7 fat years.
Yes, yes. This is all
A more dangerous one was Solomon. He gathered up all the wives, didn't he?
Say, there's a monopoly. Imagine what the SEC
Dangerous
would do to him
to
if he
whom,
were alive
Solomon?
today. How about the severest music critic? This is really a sticker. The severest music critic in the Old Testament.
David.
Why do you say that? Critic, I say. Critic.
Oh, critic.
Critic. You know what a critic is. You must have had some experience
I
after
knew
your
one
books
once.
were published, Mr. Stout. The answer is beg your pardon?
No.
All right. Saul, who threw a spear at David while David was playing the harp. Your
I had
mind was
David on
playing
the
with
wrong
David,
hand.
but you just had the wrong man. Yes. Rather pointed criticism. Well, we got one wrong. We were supposed to get 5 out of 5. Canada Dry is going to send $10 to Mr. Upton Sinclair with his compliments. Now, the next question comes from an equally celebrated personage. One of your competitors, Mr. Stout. I notice that your smile has suddenly erased itself. This question comes from Mr. Ellery Queen, who also writes detective stories. Very good ones, Mr. Stout, too.
Yes,
Very good
indeed.
ones. Yes, indeed. What striking similarity exists between the following? Have to get 4 out of 5 on this. Neville Chamberlain and Father Brown. Neville Chamberlain and Father Brown. Mr. Stout.
Sure. My answer involves a political criticism. Shall I give it anyway, Mr. Fathom?
All I care for is the facts. Are the facts? Is the facts?
Both moribund.
Both moribund. I hardly know what moribund means. No, I think that would not be the answer. Mr. Kieran.
Both carried umbrellas.
Both habitually carry an umbrella. That's quite right, yes. Now the second. What striking similarity exists between Albert Einstein and Sherlock Holmes? Mr. Kieran.
Both play the fiddle.
Both play the fiddle. Very good. What striking similarity exists between Mussolini and Hercule Poirot? Ah, Mr. Stout.
Both bald.
Both bald. Very good. That's right. Between Joseph P. Kennedy and Charlie Chan. Joseph P. Kennedy and Charlie Chan. We're bringing together odd bedfellows this evening, gentlemen.
Did Charlie Chan have
Charlie
9 children?
Chan. He did, yes. And
Well,
what does Joseph P. Kennedy have?
9 children.
Yes, that's right. Thank you, Mr. Hart. Very neatly done. And Tony Galento and Nero Wolfe. In deference to Mr. Stout, Tony Galento and Nero Wolfe. Mr. Hart.
Food.
Yes. Both have a passion for what beverage, would you say?
Beer.
Beer, yes. And both are very fat men. Would you like to add anything to my description of Nero Wolfe, Mr. Stout?
I think that's enough.
I'm going to give you 1 second and it's over. Mr. Hart.
Nero Wolfe has never played Lowie State. That's the difference.
Tony Galento doesn't like orchids.
You were learning a lot about Tony Galento. The next question from Chester E. Floyd of Danbury, Connecticut, involves your knowledge of sports. Define and indicate in which game or sport each of the following terms is used. Luff, huff, rough, buff, and slough. I defy anybody to say that more quickly. Luff. Luff. Mr. Kieran.
Sailing.
Sailing. What does it mean?
Well, it means to pull up into the wind.
Pull up into the wind. Very good. Huff. H-U-F-F. I don't know whether you cover this sport, Mr. Kieran. Mr. Hart.
When you leave any place in a huff.
That isn't a game.
Yes, you wouldn't call leaving a place a sport, exactly.
Yes, some places.
Some
places.
Yes, some places. I'd like to take it, but I can't. It's a technical term in checkers. It means the removal of a player's piece from the board after he's neglected to capture his opponent's piece. Do you gentlemen play checkers?
But that's a huff.
We don't forget.
That is a huff, yes. I want you to remember that. One wrong. A ruff, R-U-F-F. Mr. Stout.
R-U-F-F.
R-U-F-F, yes.
That's Queen Elizabeth. I was thinking of R-O-U-G-H for golf.
Yes, but I can't let you have that. Sorry. Mr. Kieran.
Rough and bridge.
Yes, what does it mean?
Trump.
Yes, trump.
When you're blanking one.
Very good.
Sorry.
And how about buff? B-U-F-F. Tricky one. Not exactly a sport, more of a game. Mr. Kieran.
Well, a fire buff is a fellow who plays the game of running the fires when he doesn't really belong.
Never thought of that. What a fancy you have, Mr. Kieran. What a fancy. Did you ever play the game of blindman's buff? Mr. Adams, you probably have played the game of blindman's buff. With your little children?
It's not a sport, though.
Oh, it can be. It can be. Well played. Blindman's buff is as fine a sport as any clean living man.
You have me there.
Buff, to buff it, to push.
Yes, I was runner-up in a game like that one.
Blindman's bluff. And fifth
Oh,
and
it's
last.
bluff.
No, it was buff all along.
Buff, I see.
Slough. S-L-O-U-G-H. Mr. Hart.
Bridge.
In bridge, what does it mean?
I have no idea.
All right, the answer is correct. However, what does it mean, Mr. Stout?
To slough means to throw off a card when you cannot follow suit and do not wish to trump.
That's right. Now, we're supposed to get 5 out of 5, and we didn't get 5 out of 5. Mr. Floyd is going to get $10 with the compliments of Canada Dry. Thank you. The next question from Mr. A. Johnson of Chicago, Illinois, involves your knowledge of animals. What animal is associated with truffles? Truffles. T-R-U-F-F-F-F-F-L-E-S. Mr. Stout.
Pigs.
Pigs. What are truffles?
Truffles are things that pigs snoot out so we can eat them.
Yes.
Why, it's a
nice
it's a fungus.
Isn't it, though?
Yes.
Yes. Don't be so contemptuous. That's quite right. They're a French delicacy, an underground fungus. Pemmican. What animal associated with pemmican? Mr. Stout again.
Pemmican is a canned meat.
Canned meat taken from what animal?
Pemmicans.
A pemmican is not... You're thinking of a pelican, no doubt.
Yes, that's correct.
I'm sorry not to be able to change the M into an L for you. From what animals?
Pemmican is beef.
Pemmican. Beef, yes.
Beef.
Buffalo, deer, or steer, right. Sure. Lean buffalo meat cut into thin slices and used by...
Northern explorers.
Yes, and southern explorers, too. Yes, northern and southern. Let's be fair, Mr. Adams. Let's be fair to the south as well as the north.
Used for dog food.
There you are, always putting your realistic note in, Mr.
The pack
Kieran.
dogs.
How about pâté de foie gras? Pâté de foie gras. pâté de foie gras. Mr. Kieran.
That's, want to know what kind of food it is?
No, I want to know what animal is associated with it.
Goose.
A goose, yes.
It's a goose's liver.
Yes, I've always
And
wondered how
very
it be
good,
spelt
too.
with all those little earthenware jars
Fat
inside
goose.
of it. And chitterling, or chitlins, as we really should say, Mr. Adams.
Pig.
Pig, swine, if you will, Mr. Adams. What are chitlins?
I don't know.
Mr. Hart, do you know what chitlins are?
I don't know why I know this, but it's the intestines.
Yes, you've led a hard life, I can
Yes.
say that. Smaller intestines of swine, fried or boiled, and sometimes filled with meat chopped fine and highly spiced.
I come of peasant stock.
Long way off, though. Canada Dry announces a loss to date now of $40. After a word from Mr. Cross, I'll tell you who our experts will be for next week.
There are just 2 points I wish to raise. First, when you dine out at your favorite restaurant, club, or hotel, be sure to order sparkling Canada Dry water. You'll find your favorite drink tastes better and lasts longer. And secondly, write for your copy of the second edition of the Information Please game. It's easy to obtain and a lot of fun to play. All you have to do is send 2 bottle caps, or if you prefer, the large labels from any 2 bottles of Canada Dry's many beverages. Mail these 2 bottle caps or 2 labels in an envelope with 10 cents to cover postage and handling to Canada Dry, 1 Pershing Square, New York City. If you live in Canada, the address is Canada Dry, Toronto, Ontario. Of course, include your own name and address, too. So send us your 10 cents, 2 bottle caps or 2 labels, and the second edition of the Information Please game is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Cross, and thank you, guests experts, Stout and Hart, for lending us your brains this evening. The lineup for next week: Mr. Levant, Mr. Kieran, Mr. Adams, the old reliable triple play combination. Guest expert, by popular request, the lady who 2 weeks ago distinguished herself both by her charm and her erudition, that brilliant artist in the fields of the short story and light verse, Miss Dorothy Parker. Don't forget now, letters with questions are to be addressed to Information Please, Canada Dry, 1 Pershing Square, New York City.
You'll find Canada Dry Ginger Ale, Sparkling Water, Lime Ricky, and Tom Collins Mixer wherever fine beverages are sold. The large family size is very economical, costing only 15 cents a bottle. And remember, there's a favorite Canada Dry drink for every member of your family. This is Milton Cross inviting you to join us now in a glass of refreshing Canada Dry. Good night, all.
This is the National Broadcasting Company.
Hear ye, hear ye, hear ye, what Noah Webster says. The National Broadcasting Company presents for your enjoyment the famous Fun with Words game, Noah Webster Says, produced and transcribed in Hollywood. On the stage are several contestants who have volunteered from the audience. And here he is, the originator of Noah Webster Says, his pockets crammed with $50 bills and a good word for everybody, your genial, jovial wordmaster of ceremonies, Haven McQuarrie.
Thank you. Welcome to Noah Webster Says, to our game of defining words we all should know, brought to you by the National Broadcasting Company. At his desk, the chairman of the Department of Speech at Occidental College, who will judge this word contest, Dr. Charles Frederick Lindsley.
Thank you, Haven, and good evening, friends. The direct quotations to be heard on tonight's program are from Webster's New International Dictionary, second edition, copyright 1934 and 39, by the publisher G&C Merriam Company.
Fine, here's our first guest of the evening. How do you do?
How do you do, sir?
Your name?
John J. Brodus.
And where from?
From Los Angeles.
Oh, born here?
No, sir, I was born in the state of Louisiana.
Oh, a southern gentleman, and you moved to Southern California.
That's correct.
And your occupation?
I'm with the Clarence Dixon Cadillac agency here in Hollywood.
Is that a new agency?
No, that's not a new agency. It's a new name on a very old company here in Hollywood.
What was the old company?
It was formerly the Hillcrest Motor Company.
The what?
The Hillcrest Motor Company.
Oh, and Clarence Dixon bought it out, huh?
That's correct, sir.
Fine. Well, now remember, this is all in fun, And even if you lose, you will have added another word to your vocabulary. This list you've chosen wins a check for $5 for Mrs. Frances Fisher of Minneapolis, Minnesota. This list is dedicated to the Christmas turkey and the trimmings. For example, if I were to ask you to define the noun fourchette, spelled F-O-U-R-C-H-E-T-T-E, the correct answer would be, a fourchette in this sense is the merrythought, spelled M-E-R-R-Y-T-H-O-U-G-H-T, and the merrythought is the wishbone. Now, is this list pertaining to the Christmas turkey clear to you?
I hope so.
Well, so do I. Now, just for fun, what is a fourchette?
Well, you just told me that a fourchette is a marathon, and a marathon...
Is a what?
A marathon, and a marathon is a wishbone, and a wishbone is a marathon, and a marathon is a fourchette, and a fourchette is a wishbone.
In other words, a marathon is a wishbone, and what's a fourchette?
A marathon or a wishbone.
And they both mean wishbone. Is that right?
All the same thing.
All the same thing. Wishbone. Fine. Well, here's one to hold and wish for your good luck. Now, let's enjoy this turkey, and here's your first question for $1. Now, are you ready for the turkey?
Yes, indeed.
Uh-huh. Well, what is the musical part of the turkey?
The musical part must be the gobble-gobble part of him.
Do you call that music?
That's turkey music.
The gobble-gobble's turkey music, huh?
That's right.
Do you, by chance, just to get you on the beam, do you like the leg of a turkey?
Oh, I get it. Drumsticks.
Noah Webster says drumstick is correct. Drumstick, in a sense, means the segment or joint of a fowl's leg between the thigh and the tarsus. Drumstick.
Just beat that one right on the nose. Now, for $2 more, your next word pertaining to the turkey is the noun gizzard, spelled G-I-Z-Z-A-R-D. So what is a gizzard?
Well, the gizzard is a turkey's crankcase or a digestive organ.
That's right. Now, where would that be?
That would be in his stomach.
That's right. Which one?
Has he got more than one?
Well, according to Noah Webster, he has two.
Oh?
Uh-huh. Two. Now, remember, this is your second question.
Would it be second stomach?
Noah Webster says gizzard. The second posterior stomach of birds, having especially in seed-eating birds, very thick muscular walls and a tough, horny, or occasionally even bony lining. In it, the food is ground up by the action of the muscular walls. Many birds swallow gravel to assist in this process. Gizzard is right.
It's crankcase, Doctor.
It's crankcase.
Says the automobile man. Now, for $3 more, your next word pertaining to a part of the turkey is the noun furculum, spelled F-U-R-C-U-L-U-M. So what part of the turkey is the furculum?
The furculum should be his breastbones.
You're very warm, but that isn't it. Did you ever hear of the fourchette?
Well, a fourchette is a marathon, and a marathon is a wishbone.
Well, that's marvelous. Now, can you think of 3 words meaning wishbone?
Fourchette, marathon, and wishbone.
And furculum. Professor.
Noah Webster says furculum. The wishbone. That is right.
Now, for $3 more, do you still like turkey?
Oh, I love it.
You do. That's good. Now, for $4 more, your next part of the turkey dinner is the oxycoccus, spelled O-X-Y-C-O-C-C-U-S. So what is your best definition for the noun oxycoccus?
Oxycoccus?
By the way, what part of the turkey do you like? What's your favorite part of the turkey? What do you like? What do you like that goes with turkey?
Oh, stuffing.
And what else?
Mashed potatoes and gravy.
You like mashed potatoes and gravy, huh?
That's right.
And what else?
Green peas.
Green peas. Now you like mashed potatoes and gravy with your turkey, and you like stuffing. What is your favorite sauce?
Oh, I must have hard sauce with my plum cake.
You must have hard sauce. Hard sauce.
Oh, I get it. Cranberry sauce.
Noah Webster says oxycoccus, a small genus of trailing, prostrate, evergreen shrubs, the cranberries.
Marvelous. Then oxycoccus is cranberries, right?
Cranberries.
Now you won $10. Now would you like to take the 10 and quit? Or would you like to try for a $50 bill? Now, if you fail to define this last word, you lose the 10. But if you win, it'll be my pleasure to give you a $50 bill. What is your pleasure?
Gee, $50 this Christmas time is swell.
All right. Cross your fingers. And now for a $50 bill, we come back to the turkey and the $50 pot, which is the Europygium. Spelled Europygium. Europygium. So what is your definition for Europygium?
Euro what?
Not I'm a what. Europygium.
Europygium.
Europygium, not Europigeon. What's your favorite part of the turkey?
Well, I like the dark meat from about the second joint.
You do, huh? I like that too, but that isn't the Europygium.
Oh, me.
What part do you dislike most?
Well, the neck.
The neck. Well, now the neck is the wrong end.
Oh, I get it. The part that goes over the fence last.
And what part would be the part that goes over the fence last?
That's the little jigger that sticks up on the back that looks like a Cadillac taillight.
Professor!
Noah Webster says Europygium is the fleshy and bony prominence at the posterior extremity of a bird's body which supports the tail feathers.
That little jigger that sticks up like a Cadillac taillight.
Very apt description, I would say.
You settled for that, did you, Doctor?
It's a very apt description. We'll accept that.
Very good. Every time I see a turkey, I'll think of a Cadillac. Maybe that's where they got the idea. Now, here is your $50 bill, sir. Thanks for coming. Hope you had fun. And a Merry Christmas to you and yours.
Thank you very much, and I wish you a Merry Christmas.
Here's a memo for great radio entertainment. There's action-packed adventure awaiting you tonight when, over most NBC stations, you'll hear Dangerous Assignment starring Brian Donlevy. Follow Brian Donlevy on his Dangerous Assignment tonight and each Saturday night on NBC for great adventure. And now, back to Haven McQuarrie.
Here's our next contestant. How do you do?
How do you do, sir?
You having a good time tonight?
Yes, wonderful.
Your name?
Ellen Gilbert,
And where from?
Cape Cod, Massachusetts.
Well, my home state. And your occupation?
I'm going to City College right now.
Oh, here in Los Angeles?
Yes, sir.
Well, welcome to our Fun with Words game, Noah Webster says. This list you've chosen wins a check for $5 for Mrs. Louise Hickey of Portland, Oregon, the city of roses. This list calls for you to define 5 words or terms, each of which is a prayer. As Phillips Brooks once said, a prayer in its simplest definition is merely a wish turned Godward. And now for our first prayer. What is your best definition for the noun grace as a prayer?
That's my middle name. I should know that. Let's see. Grace is a short prayer said at the table.
You're right. Professor.
It's a blessing asked or thanks rendered at a meal. Correct.
And your name is Grace.
Yes,
huh?
my middle name, sir.
Now, for $2 more, your next prayer is the plural noun Vespers, spelled Vespers. So, as a prayer, what is your definition for the plural noun Vespers, and what is the time?
Well, Vespera in Latin means evening. So that's a late afternoon or early evening prayer.
You're right. Professor.
Vespers, the evening prayer. Correct.
Now, for $3 more, your next prayer is the proper noun Angelus, spelled capital Angelus. So what is the time for the Angelus?
Well, there's a famous painting by Millet of the Angelus.
Uh-huh.
It's very beautiful. It pictures the peasants in the fields pausing to pray when they hear the Angelus bell. And the Angelus is a form of devotion said at morning, noon, or evening.
Professor. Very good. Angelus is a prayer said at morning, noon, and evening at the sound of the bell called the Angelus bell. Excellent.
Lovely. And now for $4 more, your next prayer is the noun offertory, spelled Offertory. So in this sense, what is your definition for the noun offertory?
The collection.
You're right, Professor.
An offertory is a prayer made in connection with the making of offerings. Right.
I have won $10. Would you like to take the 10 and quit, or would you like to continue praying for 50?
Well, Santa Claus doesn't believe in me anymore, so I'd like to try.
All right, fine. Now for a $50 bill, your final prayer on this list is the noun paternoster, spelled as a noun Paternoster. So as a prayer, what is your definition for the noun paternoster?
The Lord's Prayer.
You're right, Professor.
Oh, if it says paternoster in this sense means the Lord's Prayer or a recital of it in any language.
Here is your $50 bill, my dear. Thanks for coming, and thanks for a splendid job. And please stand by for the final exam.
Thank you.
Here's our next contestant. How do you do?
How do you do, sir?
And your name?
Sergeant Robert Milam.
And where from?
Russellville, Arkansas.
Well, welcome to our game of fun with words, Noah Webster says.
Thank you.
This list you've chosen wins a check for $5 for Mrs. William F. Morgan of Hartford, Connecticut. This list of words is dedicated to a Christmas poem. And speaking of Christmas, thousands of folks have written asking us to explain why Christmas is sometimes spelled capital Xmas. They ask us to explain why it's that. Well, it is spelled that way because it comes from the Greek letter. The X means Chi, and Chi means Christ. And Mass means festival, and Christ festival, therefore, Christmas. And now, are you ready for this famous poem?
Yes, sir.
All right. Now, for $1, Clement Clark Moore wrote a Christmas poem in 1844, the title of which was A Visit from St. Nicholas. Now, can you give the first line of that poem?
'Twas the night before Christmas, when all through the house.
That's marvelous. Professor.
It was the night before Christmas. That is correct.
And now for $2 more, you are to define an adjective pertaining to a word in the first verse of this poem. Your word is murine, spelled Murine. So the adjective murine pertains to what animal?
Well, it...
Do you remember this part of the poem?
Not a creek.
It was the night before Christmas, when all through the house not a creature was stirring, not even a murine.
Well, a mouse, a small
You're right,
animal.
Professor.
Small
Well,
animal.
if it says murine means pertaining to a mouse.
Now, for $3 more, your next word to define an association with the poem is ingle, spelled I-N-G-L-E. So what is your best definition for the noun ingle? Ingle. Do you remember this line? The stockings were hung by the ingle with care.
By the chimney with care.
And the chimney was the top of what?
The fireplace.
You're
with
right.
care.
No Webster says ingle. In this sense, a fireplace.
I know it.
Now, for $4 more, your next problem comes from these lines. When what to my wondering eyes should appear, a miniature sleigh and 8 tiny reindeer. Now, for a $10 bill, can you name the 8 tiny reindeer?
Dancer, Dasher, Vixen, Comet, Blitzen, Donner. All right, I'll take one. Cupid.
How many was that?
8, I believe.
Will you do that again?
Now Dasher, now Dancer, now Vixen, Prancer and Vixen, on Comet, Cupid, Donner, and Blitzen.
It came right back to you, didn't it? Come on. Professor.
Now, Dasher, now Dancer, now Prancer and Vixen, on Comet, on Cupid, on Donner and Blitzen, to the top of the porch, to the top of the wall. Now, dash away, all. I think he got them all correct.
That's fine. Now, for a $50 bill, your last term to define an association with this poem, A Visit from St. Nicholas, is the Bishop of Myra. Now, for a $50 bill, can you give another appellation for the Bishop of Myra?
Bishop of Myra.
Bishop of Myra. Now think of the poem. The stockings were hung by the chimney with care, with hopes that the Bishop of Myra soon would be there.
Hopes that old St. Nick would soon be there.
You're right, Professor. No Webster says St. Nicholas, the Bishop of Myra, Asia Minor, the patron saint of Russia, Greece, the kingdom of Naples, etc., and of mariners, merchants, and children. As the bearer of presents to children on Christmas Eve, his name has been corrupted to Santa Claus. St. Nicholas is correct.
Fine. Here's your $50 bill, Sergeant. Thanks for coming. Come and see us again when you come our way. A Merry Christmas to you and yours, and God bless you.
Thank you very much, sir.
3 times mean good times on NBC. Later tonight, there's an hour of fun for you and your whole family with Christmas programs by Dennis Day and Judy Canova. Dennis promises to sing some of your favorite Yuletide music, and Judy gets involved in a misunderstanding about her Christmas present from her boyfriend. Be sure to hear Dennis Day and Judy Canova for an hour of fun later this evening. And now, back to Haven McQuarrie.
Here's our next guest. How do you do?
How do you do?
Your name?
Mrs. Catherine Kirby.
And where from?
Well, I'm from Colorado.
Were born there?
Yes.
Your occupation?
I'm a housewife.
Well, welcome to our game of fun with words. This list you've chosen wins a check for $5 for Mrs. Ken Taylor of Midland, Texas. This calls for you to define 5 words, each of which is a part of the Christmas dinner table. For example, if I were to ask you to define the noun eperne, spelled E-P-E-R-G-N-E, I'm sure you would say why an eperne is a centerpiece for a table decoration. You would? Would
Yes.
you not?
I
You
most
would.
certainly would.
Well, that's fine. Well, now, can you give a fancy name for a centerpiece for a table decoration?
A fancy name.
That's right.
Well, I've decorated the center of my table with a horn of plenty.
With a horn of plenty, huh? Well, now, I'm going back a few minutes. You're a little bit confused. This word is spelled E-P-E-R-G-N-E, and it's a fancy center table decoration. Now, can you give a name for a fancy center table?
Yes.
What
Epernig.
Not Eperny. Epern.
Epern.
That's fine. Epern. Now, that's good. Remember that, will you?
Yes.
All right. Your first word for the Christmas table is the noun cutlery, spelled C-U-T-L-E-R-Y. So what is your best definition for the noun cutlery?
Well, cutlery is a sharp instrument. I would say knives.
Yeah, that was sharp, Professor.
I'd say correct.
Right. Now, for $2 more, your next Christmas table word is the noun napery, spelled Napery. So what is your best definition for the noun napery?
Well, that's the tablecloth and the napkins. I'd say table linen.
You're right.
Table linen, correct. Sometimes household linen.
Now, for $3 more, your next Christmas table word is the noun serviette, spelled Serviette. Serviette. So what's your best definition for the noun serviette?
Well, I think that's the napkin.
You think so?
Yes.
You're right. You don't have to think further,
That is
Professor.
correct. A table napkin.
Very good. Good old gravy catcher. Now, for $4 more, your next Christmas table word is spelled Epergne. Now, for a $10 bill, you were to pronounce this word and define it. How would you pronounce it?
Eperny.
It isn't Eperny. Well, this is Christmas. I'll pronounce it. Epern.
Epern.
Now, you define it.
Well, it's a very decorative centerpiece for a table.
Lovely.
Epern, a centerpiece for table decoration.
Now, you won 10. Now, would you like to take the 10 and quit, or would you like to try for a $50 bill?
Oh, I'd like very much to try for the $50 bill.
All right. Now, for a $50 bill, the meal is over. The folks have gone laughing and shouting home to bed. And your last word pertaining to the Christmas table is the plural noun orts, spelled O-R-T-S. So what is your best definition for the plural noun orts?
Would that be demitasse?
No. No.
Oh,
By the way, have you a dog?
Oh, yes.
And what is your dog's name?
Well, his name is Luigi.
Luigi. Well, now, in terms of table talk, what will Luigi expect from the table?
The scraps.
You're right.
Noah Webster says orts. The plural noun means scraps.
Marvelous. Here's your $50 bill, and a Merry Christmas to you and yours, and please stand by for the final exam.
Thank you.
And now, folks, while we prepare tonight for tonight's final exam, we'll have another word from John Storm.
Yes, you folks at home may play America's favorite radio game, Noah Webster Says. Just select 5 words you'd like to hear defined on this program, then mail your 5 words to Noah Webster Says, care of the National Broadcasting Company, Hollywood 28, California. A postal card will do. We may rearrange or edit them to our discretion. All lists become the property of Noah Webster Says. And when your list is used on the air, a check for $5 will be mailed to you. In the event listeners submit identical lists, only the ones bearing the earliest postmark will be considered. The decision of our judges must be final. And now, back to Haven McQuarrie.
Yes, Johnny, we're all ready for the final exam, which amounts tonight to $50. You contestants have been given a paper on which appears one word. You've had 60 seconds to jot down your definition for that word, and among those of you who are right, the sum of $50 will be divided. If there are no correct answers, the total will be added to next week's final exam. And to you folks at home, the word for which they are writing the definition is the proper noun, Emmanuel, spelled capital I-M-M-A-N-U-E-L. Now, many of you listeners know the answer. Here come their papers with their definitions for the proper noun, Emmanuel. The first paper says, Emmanuel, a Bible word meaning God with us. The second paper says, God with us. The third paper says, Bible word dealing with the birth of Christ. The fourth paper says, God with us. And the fifth paper, a religious name. And the sixth paper, God with us. And now we'll hear what Noah Webster says for Emmanuel, Professor.
Noah Webster says Emmanuel means God with us, an appellation of the Christ.
Which means that according to our judge, there are 4 winners tonight who will divide $50 in addition to the prizes they have already won. Tonight's winners are The first gentleman to come to the microphone with a funny little thing on the back of the turkey. And the second one is little Miss Gilbert from Massachusetts. The fourth paper, Mrs. Kirby, the last lady to come to the microphone, and Mrs. Ed Jones, who didn't get to the microphone. We'll have her on very shortly. Congratulations, ladies and gentlemen.
Remember, you listeners at home, simply jot down 5 words that you think will be suitable for this program, then mail your list to Noah Webster Says, care of the National Broadcasting Company, Hollywood 28, California. And when your list is used on the air, you will receive a check for $5. And Haven?
Thanks to the contestants who appeared here tonight, and to you folks who sent in word lists, and also to Dr. Charles Frederick Lindsley, who was the final authority in judging this contest. And now, fellow word lovers, it's time to close the book. Until next week at the same time, when the National Broadcasting Company and I cordially invite you to be with us again when we come to call...
Hear ye what Noah Webster says.
Until then, please remember, you folks at home are invited to join in our game of fun with words. Just jot down 5 words you think suitable and mail them to Noah Webster Says. Just jot down 5 words you think suitable and mail them to Noah Webster Says, care of the National Broadcasting Company, Hollywood 28, California. Mail them to Noah Webster Says, care of the National Broadcasting Company, Hollywood 28, California. And when your list is used on the air, you will receive a check for $5. And now this is Haven McQuarrie asking... Have you learned a new word tonight? A Merry Christmas to you and yours. So long.
Tune in next week at this same time for another session of radio's famous Fun with Words game, Noah Webster Says, produced by Andrew C. Love and transcribed in Hollywood. With Haven McQuarrie, Professor Charles Frederick Lindsley, and yours truly, John Storm. And now, Noah Webster Says, a Merry Christmas to you from Hollywood. This program is heard overseas through the facilities of the Armed Forces Radio Service.
Now, let's all play What's My Line? And now let's meet our award-winning panel of What's My Line. First, the popular columnist whose voice of Broadway appears in papers coast to coast, Miss Dorothy Kilgallen.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. And it's a great pleasure to have a new mystery guest panelist tonight. He's in his 2nd season as the Rebel, the star of the favorite television show, Nick Adams.
Good evening. And on my left, truly a beautiful human being, Miss Arlene Francis.
Thank you, Nick. And now a gentleman who has just returned from Atlantic City. Phyllis, if you are watching, here is your husband, Bennett Cerf.
Just before he came out, these 2 darling girls asked me if John Daly really knew what he was talking about when he used all these big, long words. I said, he may know, but we don't. Well, here he is to explain for himself. John Charles Daly.
Bennett has been down in Atlantic City, had a wonderful week. Obviously rested a good deal, didn't have his mind really on his fort, which is, as you know, humor. Because the joke he brought back was, what's the difference between a tuna fish and a piano? And the answer is you can tune a piano. And that's a pretty bad way to start a program. I did this to Bennett, frankly, because usually he tells them to me and then comes out and says, I told them to him. Well, it's nice to have Nick Adams with us on the panel tonight. And panel, it's nice to have you all here because we're going to change the rules a bit. We're out to puzzle you with mystery guests and occupations, but tonight there's a change in the order of things. We're going to have 2 mystery guests, and this will require that you don your masks now because the first of our guests tonight is going to be a mystery guest. And now to meet tonight's first mystery guest. Will you enter and sign in, please?
Tonight's first mystery challenger is a man and noted biographer, Mr. Carl Sandburg.
All right, panel, as you know, in the case of our mystery guests, we always change our form of questioning. You ask one question at a time in turn, moving clockwise, and we'll begin with Miss Arlene Francis.
Would one find your name in the entertainment pages of the newspaper?
Yep.
Mr. Cerf?
Have you spent any time recently in Atlantic City?
No. That's 1 down and 9 to go, Miss Kilgallen.
Did you ever study dentistry?
Did you ever study dentistry? No. 2 down and 8 to go, Mr. Adams.
Are you an actor?
No.
3 down and 7 to go, Miss Francis.
Oh, are you a writer?
Yep.
Mr. Cerf.
Have you ever written a play that has been produced on Broadway or near Broadway?
No.
No?
4 down and 6 to go, Miss Kilgallen.
Have you ever written a novel?
You ever written a novel?
Yep.
Mr. Adams?
What was that, a yes or a no?
That was a yep.
Are you Ernest Hemingway?
5 down and 5 to go, Miss Francis.
Ernest Hemingway will kill him if he hears this show. He's my favorite author, that's why.
If this is who I think it is, it's my favorite author. Are you a great historian of Lincoln?
You're simply terrible.
It's the glorious Carl Sandburg.
Arlene, actually sitting talking with Mr. Sandburg backstage for a few minutes, just a little bit ago, he said, you know, I've spent an hour and a half with Arlene, and I don't know whether she'll be able to recognize my voice, and he was rehearsing his...
John, I've played Mr. Sandburg's...
She was down at our farm in North Carolina, did a half-hour TV show.
Certainly, we're an old romance, Carl Sandburg and I.
Something not strictly cricket. A little against rules that she should be on the panel.
I played his Lincoln Portrait album at least 5,000 times. My wife thinks I'm nuts, but I think it's just fantastic, Mr. Sandburg. It's a pleasure meeting you after all this time.
Did we get 6 no's?
We got 5 no's.
That ain't so bad.
Oh, that's...
Give him the $50 anyway. He raises
kick it
goat.
over each.
Oh, what he needs it.
I must say, if I can recall a bit of history, those of us who serve the profession of journalism have a very particular reason for having a great fondness for Mr. Sandburg. We did a television program a few years ago with which we raised basically a good deal of the money that built the Overseas Press Club in memory of the correspondents who died during the war. And nobody was so selfless in his willingness to serve on this program, to appear on it, and to be a part of what we all, needless to say, been very proud of, building a memorial to the correspondents.
John, Mr. Sandburg is too modest to say he's glorified on the stage in New York.
The world of Carl Sandburg, with actually we had Betty Davis here 2 weeks ago. And I must say, we can't let him go without also putting something else into the record. It's there in the record, but I know that one of the things of which you're most proud is that you are, I think, one of the 2 men who were non-members of the Congress and of government to ever address a joint session of the Congress. And
private citizens.
A private citizen who did it. It's wonderful of you, sir, to give us some of your time and to grace, if I may say, and I use the verb with great, good, sincere meaning to grace our program.
I was asked of the 500 or more programs that there have been of this that I have seen. I would estimate 200.
That's
I know this panel. I could arrest any one of them on site and testify. Identify them in any court of law except the lad next there between the two ladies.
My first time.
Yeah, this is Mr. Adams' first time with us, sir. Thank you very much for being our guest, Mr. Stenberg. I hope that we'll always have you on. A man of infinite good humor and wisdom. Panel, congratulations. Actually, you, with that wonderful eep, and nope, we thought it would take a little more time. Let's see what you can do with our second challenger. Would you enter and sign in, please? Donna? Schofield, is that right? It is Miss Schofield, and where are you from?
Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Panel, may I present Miss Schofield and at the same time say that the line that you're looking for is, of course, a line which is pursued in summer vacation, weekends, and odd times when one isn't busy at school, because Miss Schofield is back at the university. Will you come and join me here, please? Do you know how we keep score?
Yes.
All right, then we'll let the panel know nothing at all, but let the audience in the theater and the folks who are watching at home know all about what your line is.
Miss Schofield is caretaker of a baby chimpanzee in the children's zoo.
All right, panel, we can tell you that Miss Schofield is salaried and deals in a service, and we'll begin the general questioning with Miss Kilgallen.
Do you work for a profit-making organization, Miss Schofield?
No, I don't.
1 down and 9 to go, Mr. Adams.
I just came back from doing 5 days in Pittsburgh at the Allegheny County Fair. Did we meet there? You look awfully familiar.
No.
2 down and 8 to go, Miss President.
That's wishful thinking. Miss Schofield, do you work for some branch of the government?
No, I don't.
That makes it 3 down and 7 to go, Mr. Cerf.
Miss Schofield, do you work in either the educational or the hospital fields?
No.
That's 4 down and 6 to go, Miss Kilgallen.
Can both sexes profit by whatever it is you do?
Yes.
Are people better off for what you do?
Yes.
How narrow is your term of reference?
As narrow as I can get a yes with.
As narrow as you can get a yes with. Well, then we'll give you a yes. But this ought to tell you, actually, since we would agree that having sought this service and having received it, the tendency would be to believe that they are, to some degree, perhaps instructed, but certainly have been bemused. We'll say that they're improved.
Oh, well, at least I've gotten that they seek her service. She doesn't just come and put the arm on them.
Dorothy, when I make a gaffe like that, you don't have to point it out.
I'm sorry, John, but at least that widened the narrowness a little, and I thank you. Then people do have to encourage Miss Schofield. She just doesn't come up and nab them or anything like that.
Well, I don't think we ought to say here out in the public rostrum that Miss Schofield encourages them.
Well, there are people who have need of her services, and therefore they get her services. Is that it?
No, I would
She
say
is not thrust upon them. That's what I'm trying to clarify, John. No other agency thrusts Miss Schofield upon these people. They voluntarily take advantage of her services. That's all I want to know. Yes or no? Please.
Well, I've seen a question spread out far enough to cover half the globe, and it's been fun to see it that way, so we'll give you a yes.
A yes to what?
Miss Schofield's services are not thrust upon them.
That's all I want to know. Could Miss Schofield's services be purveyed to children as well as adults?
Yes.
Are your services, Miss Schofield, purveyed indoors?
No.
That makes it 5 down and 5 to go, Mr. Evans.
Miss Schofield, would I have any reason to come to you for services?
Yes.
I would. Would my wife have any reason to come to you for
Yes.
services?
Good.
She would, too. Are you in the finance business?
No to that. 6 down and 4 to go, Miss Francis.
Do you have anything to do with parks or outdoor places where people come to view something, like a zoo?
Yes.
Well, do you work in a zoo? Do you work in a zoo?
Yes.
Well, are you a guide, or do you show people the monkey cages, or do you have anything to do with taking people through the zoo? You're dubious.
No.
You feel all right.
No, I don't. That the guide sense, the take through, we'd give you a no, Mr. Sir.
Miss Schofield, do you have anything to do with actually taking care of some of the animals?
Yes.
Is it one particular group of animals that you center your attentions upon?
Yes, one group. I mean, we will.
Are they wild animals? Naturally, if they're in a zoo, I would gather they'd be rather wild.
Well, let's say they have tendencies in that direction, and Miss Schofield tries to dampen the ardor that they have for being wild.
Are they four-legged animals?
No.
They're buoyed.
No, they aren't. Actually, I think we're being a little unfair. I'm going to turn all the cards over, but I think it would be a little unfair to make you come right down to the specific animal. But Miss Schofield does a wonderful job. She is in effect, the babysitter for the chimpanzee at the children's zoo.
Oh, yeah.
See? She bathes, clothes, feeds, and plays with this chimpanzee, right?
Right.
Is he good fun? Is it a he or a she?
Joey's a boy.
Joey's a boy. Is he good fun?
Oh, wonderful.
Now, this is not meant to be rude, and I want you to understand from the beginning that it is not in any attempt, or in any way an attempt on my part to reflect upon what I'm sure is the splendid relationship you have with Joey. Does he ever just haul off and let you have one?
Never.
He doesn't dare,
Wait till he grows up.
doesn't he?
He's only in baby clothes now.
Miss Schofield, will you do me a favor? Leave Mr. Daly in New York when you go back to Pittsburgh.
What's the difference between a tuna fish and a piano? You're very kind. Thank you very much, Miss
Thank you
Schofield. It was
very
nice
much.
to have you with us. And lots of Once again, back to the usual special feature of our program, the appearance of a mystery celebrity. Panel, blindfolds all in place?
Yes, sir.
Well, good. If this is true, let's have our second mystery guest enter and sign in, please.
Tonight's second mystery challenger is television and motion picture comedian Milton Berle. Milton Berle.
All right, panel, once again, a reminder, the different form of questioning for the mystery celebrity. You ask one question at a time, in turn, moving clockwise. And we'll begin it all with Bennett Cerf.
Well, just to clear my own suspicious mind, have you recently been in Atlantic City?
No.
No.
1 down and 9 to go, Miss Kilgallen.
All right, just to clear mine, have you ever studied dentistry?
No. 2 down and 8 to go, Mr. Adams.
Are you Ernest Hemingway?
No. 3 down and 7 to go, Miss Francis.
Are you a performer?
Yes. Mr. Cerf.
Are you appearing in a motion picture that is now playing on or near Broadway or is about to open there?
Yeah. Miss Kilgallen.
Have I ever seen you in Maxime's in Paris?
The stir? No.
It's the dentist you saw in Maxime's.
4,006 to go, Mr. Adams.
Did he say he was appearing in a motion picture soon to open on Broadway?
That is now playing.
Oh,
now
that
or
is now
soon to open. Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's soon to open. Oh. My God. You appear on television besides motion pictures.
Yeah. Miss Francis?
Have you a show of your own?
Yeah. Mr. Cerf?
Do you ever sing in either the motion pictures that you play in or on the show of your own?
No. There's an honest man if I ever saw one. 5 down, 5 to go, Miss Gilgallen.
Well, are you generally considered to be a leading man?
No. That's an honest man indeed. 6 down and 4 to go, Mr. Adams.
Have we met personally? Do I know you?
Yeah. Miss Francis?
Are you a comedian? The dubious comedian.
Yeah. Mr.
Yes.
Cerf?
Are you one of the younger group of... I guess we're about...
Now answer the question.
No.
No. 7 down and 3 to go, Miss Gilgallen.
Are you the rugged type?
No. Hey, pardon me. Neither am I. That's 8 down and 2 to go, Mr. Adams.
Are you Sir Laurence Olivier?
How now?
Larry? Is that you, Larry?
No. No. That's 9 down and 1 to go, Miss Francis.
In the picture that you are now playing in on Broadway, did you receive rather smashing notices, although you did not play a major role?
Yes.
Milton?
Yes.
Milton Berle?
How many no's to get?
We got
You
9.
are one of the younger comedians.
No, I'm one of the younger comedians. I mean,
Please, we know how you feel, but, don't try to put this burden on Milton.
no,
And he got a smashing banner headline notice in a picture in which there are other stars that are very, very famous.
He makes a guest appearance, really.
Yes, but is it the most unusual thing you've ever seen? I think it was the New York Times
It was-
to give a
it
headline
was
to
from
Milton
Bosley
Berle and a
Crowther, and it
picture
was the
with
most unusual notice.
Frank Sinatra
Right.
and
I
Peter
mean,
Lawson.
considering
No,
the title-
wrong.
Arlene.
Marilyn Monroe and Tony Randall and Gloria
Arlene,
Swanson.
considering the title of the picture, what else would you expect from
Oh,
Milton?
let's make love.
Let's make
with
love.
what are we waiting for? I was talking to Mr. Sandberg backstage, and I asked him if he could give me some material. And he said, there's no use in me giving you any of Lincoln's because you've been doing them.
Oh, dear. And Milton, I rushed forward to say this is not by way of a plug. I'm curious, you're on Milton Berle's bowling show?
No, it's not Milton Berle's. It's called Jackpot Bowling, and I'm the host of it. I'm Master of Ceremonies.
You're changing your
What
name
are
to
you
Jack Pot.
But what are you going to do? You're going to mix bowling and variety?
Oh, wait a minute. Now, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Ooh, I wish this was my show. What I wish. No, it's Jackpot Bowling. Last year we had Jack Paw Bowling, but... No, it's a bowling show with champion bowlers, and I'm going to be...
you at the pins?
I'm not talking. You're very bad. Now, No, they don't throw them. I'm going to be master of ceremonies.
What? But do you have variety in this? Or
There is
all
going to be
that?
variety. I'm going to be the master. There isn't any script. It's off the cuff, just like your panel is and yourself. Ad lib, and I'm going to be master of ceremonies. Introduce the players, clown around, and kid around. I want to hold it as this. What is it, Nick?
I'll be a guest panelist, huh?
What'd you say?
Can I be a guest panelist?
You can be a guest bowler if you want. Can you bowl?
Sure.
I don't know whether you were here earlier on to hear Bennett's new
What are you
joke.
coughing? You better get a room.
You're...
They're very good cigars. They're Phillies. Go ahead. I got that in, too.
You got that in.
What did you say? What were you going to say?
Did you hear Bennett's joke?
Yeah, about the tuna fish.
Isn't that a honey?
The worst joke I've ever heard.
I got it from you.
You didn't get it from me, because if there's any stealing...
Most of your stuff would be in the can, and you can't can a tuna fish in the can or tune it or
That's
something.
very good. I wish I had a topper for that, but I'm not going to use it.
Anyway, I do think somebody ought to say on this program that it is going to be a blessing to television to have you back on it
May I
again.
just say one more thing before I leave? No, please.
It is.
That's just like this show. My show is practically the only new live show. It's a live show every week. We do it live. Some of them will be dead, but it's a great pleasure. I know you got a lot of more.
It goes without saying, sire, that you start your new show with all our blessings, and we hope.
Thank you. And I hope you'll be watching Jackpot Bowling.
We're a bit short of time tonight, so with your permission for the panel and for all of us to work on the program, I say good night. Besides, I haven't got the courage to send it over to the panel. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you.
Watch my line.
I'll watch my line.
Bristol Myers, makers of Ipana for the smile of beauty and Vitalis for well-groomed hair, present Correction Please with Jerry Sears Orchestra and starring J.C. Flippin. And here's your Correction Please host, star of stage and radio with wit and good humor, who hands out Mazuma, J.C. Flippin.
Thank you very much. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Hiya, Fred.
Well, hello, Jay. Well, what's the matter with you anyway? Why so downcast?
I had a date with a beautiful girl last night. We had a spat. She left me and went home.
You know, the trouble with you, Jay, is you just haven't got any savoir-faire.
I haven't got what?
Savoir-faire.
I'm lucky if I have subway fare.
I'm inclined to think that you're a little bit cheap.
Oh, now don't be silly.
Well, it's just a disgrace the way you make me save all those cereal tops.
But, Fred, don't you know that for only 12,000 crunchy-wunchy box tops, I can get myself a new pencil with my name on it?
Yeah, but, Jay, you could get a pencil like that for exactly 5 cents.
This is a fine time to tell me after I've eaten 11,500 boxes of crunchy-wunchy. No, but wait a minute, ladies and gentlemen. Let's play Correction Please. From our studio audience, we've selected 5 persons. Each has been given $10 with the compliments of Ipana and Vitalis. During the game, they'll have a chance to double and triple that 10 whenever they get the bid on a set of statements. Later on, they have a chance on the big bonus prize of $100 in war bonds. And our contestants for tonight are a corporal in the Army from the Bronx, New York, a Navy signalman third class from Ohio, a lovely little civilian lady from Chestertown, from way down yonder in New Orleans, and a captain in the Pan American World Airways whose home is Prince Rupert, British Columbia. Well, here we go. Our first set of statements is on the subject baby animals. Now, for example, a baby deer is a fawn, a baby cow is a calf, and so on. Get the idea? Now, I'll make 3 statements. One of them is wrong. Tell me which one it is, and you double your bid. Now, if you miss, you forfeit the amount of your bid, but if you guess right, you have a chance to double and then maybe triple that money. Now, who will start the bidding on that? Baby animals.
$1.
$1 from the Bronx.
$2.
$2 from the little lady from...
I'll bid 5.
$5 from Ohio.
$6.
$6 from New Orleans.
10.
$10. Yes, sir. This is... Come right over, sir. This is Captain Albert Maher, M-A-H, of Prince Rupert, British Columbia, and the Pan American World Airways affiliate, China National Airways. There you go. Born up in Canada, huh, Captain?
Yes, sir.
And you're of Chinese descent, aren't you?
Yes.
Chinese and Canadian?
Yes.
Which side is which?
Well,
On both.
On both? Oh, both. I see. Tell me, Captain, on the Pan American Airways, you're the fellows that have been flying that CBI theater, haven't you?
Yes, I've been flying the Himalaya Mountains there, the hump, which is known over here. Made over 400 trips across there, close to 500.
Carrying ammunition and supplies? And
Yes,
things like that?
and dropping supplies to isolated Chinese troops and to the engineers building the Burma Road.
My goodness, that's dangerous enough to fly over once, and you've been over there over 4,000 times?
400.
400?
Right.
I mean, whenever you talk about that thing, I magnify it. It sounds like 4,000 times. Well, tell me, you must have had quite a few thrills there, Captain. What are some of the thrills? You got time to tell me?
Well, my biggest thrill was on the ground when I penetrated the Jap lines by foot to rescue my young sister from the Jap-occupied territory.
My goodness, then got in your plane and went back over the hump again?
Yes,
Give me
sir.
5. Got to talk to you. You're fond of animals? Is that how you happen to pick this category, Captain?
Yes, I'm quite fond of animals.
Yeah? You heard what the mama duck said to the baby duck. You're a very naughty child. If your father was alive, he'd turn over in his gravy. But that's not your set of statements. Here they are, Captain. You bid yourself 10. You've got a chance to double it for 20 and possibly 30. Now, here we go. Watch yourself. 1 is wrong. Number 1, a baby duck is a duckling. Number 2, a baby frog is a frogling. Number 3, a baby goose is a gosling. Now, 1 is wrong. Which is wrong? 1, 2, or 3?
Well, a baby frog certainly isn't a gosling.
Will you say then number 2 is wrong?
Yes.
You're right for $20. Yes, indeed. Mr. Webster doesn't seem to have the word frogling in his dictionary at all, but if you can tell me either one of the 2 names by which a baby frog is known, you'll win a total of $30 or 3 times your bid. What would you say a baby frog is? What'd you say it was?
A baby frog?
Yeah.
Pollywaddle.
Pollywaddle for $30. Yes, sir. Now, here's a set of statements on letter writing. You all receive... Oh, he don't trust us, the captain. He's counting it right away. I'm sure it's all there, Captain, because the people that own these products are loaded. They got plenty of money. Now, look, you all probably receive a lot of letters and write a great many. So you should be familiar with the facts used in these statements. Now, who wants to take a chance on doubling or maybe tripling his money on letter writing?
$2.
$2 from the Bronx.
$4.
$4 from New Orleans.
I'll bid 6.
You'll bid 6 from Ohio, the sailor said.
$8.
$8 from the Bronx. $8 once. $8 twice.
$30.
Oh, no, you can't do that, old man. No, that's in the second round you can bid up to 20. This kid is still flying over that hump here. I don't know what it's once for $8, twice for $8.
$10.
$10. Come over here. This is Paratrooper Phil Waken, Waken of New Orleans, Louisiana, and the United States Army. Tell me about New Orleans. Phil, I haven't been down there in a long time.
Well, it used to be a gay town when they had the Mardi Gras. It's ration now.
Have you been back home since you come back?
No, I went to Baton Rouge when I came back.
I see the Purple Heart and a couple of bronze battle stars there. Where did you do your jumping? In any one particular sector, Phil?
Well, we went into Normandy.
Uh-huh.
About
So you've
5
just been
o'clock in
back
the morning.
very recently, haven't you?
Oh, I hit New York on Vegan Day.
Oh, you got back on V-Day. Well, that was quite a celebration for you, wasn't it?
Oh, we stayed on the boat all night.
Well, you couldn't have gotten up and down Broadway that day anyhow, so you
No,
probably
I
were more
imagine.
comfortable. Tell me, what'd you do in New Orleans before you went in service?
I was in the refrigerator business, air
Refrigerator?
conditioning.
Oh. You think you'll go back in that when it's all over?
Well, it's possible. They need it down there.
We may get this good news tonight. Maybe
Yeah.
you'll get back there sooner than you think.
I hope so.
I hope so, too, pal. Now, look, let's say you're writing a letter to your girlfriend. Now, since every letter must have a salutation, a signature, and a superscription, here's where you'd put these things. But remember, 1 is wrong. Number 1, you'd put the salutation at the beginning of the letter. Number 2, you'd put the signature at the end of the letter. Number 3, you'd put the superscription in the postscript. Now, which statement would you say is wrong? 1, 2, or 3?
You said you'd put the salutation at the beginning of the letter?
Number 2, you'd put the signature at the end. Number 3, you'd put the superscription in the postscript. Which is wrong? 1, 2.
Number 3.
Number 3 is wrong. You're right for $20. That doubles the amount of your bid. Here's how you can trip it for 30. Tell me, what is the superscription in a letter? It's an essential part of any letter, but it does not go in the postscript. What is it?
I think that's that precedes the salutation in the letter, isn't it?
It precedes? What
Well-
is the superscription?
superscription is...
It does not go in the postscript, I'll give you that.
No, that's true.
Take your time now. You've got the $20. I can't take that back. You've got that hot or cold, but I want you to get 30 by telling me what is the...
What is the superscription?
What is the superscription in a letter?
Well, that's something extra. I mean, it isn't appended. It's just appended to the letter. It isn't
No, you got to give me a little better thing on that, Phil. What is the superscription in a letter?
Superscription.
Uh-huh.
Isn't that the date? I mean, the date and the city you're writing from, your address?
The address is what I've been trying to get you to say for $30. Okay. You got it. Yes, it's the address. Right you are. This one should be in the bag for someone because the subject is sacks. Sacks. I don't mean like the bags that I get. Sacks. S-A-C-K-S. Specifically words which have the letter sack in them, or words which are combined with the word sack, like sackcloth, coal sack, haversack, and so on. Now, who wants to bag a few extra dollars on this set? Let's have $4. $4 from the Bronx.
$5.
$5 from the little lady?
I'll bet $8.
You'll bid $8 the sailor. $8 you bid. Once. $8 you bid twice. Sold to the sailor signalman 3rd class, Granville Pike of Orwell, Ohio, and the United States Navy. Look at that smile on that kid. Look at that. Show that audience that smile. Isn't that a pretty smile, huh? Hiya, fella. Tell me about Orwell, Ohio. Where is Orwell?
That's just outside of Cleveland.
Just outside of Cleveland, huh? What did you do in Orwell, or did you work in Cleveland before you went to service?
I was a student at Ohio State University when I was drafted.
I see. Well, I see you've seen some service, so, I mean, they must have known what they were doing when they took you. How big a town is Orwell? I don't think I've ever heard of that one.
Well, it's
Randall?
pretty small. Just like I told you, it's the only place you can spread your legs apart and be standing over a whole city.
Have you been back to Orwell since you've been back?
Yes, I was just home on leave now, the first time in 16 months.
Uh-huh. Was she glad to see you?
Yes, she was.
I bet she was glad to see that smile. I bet she can't wait till she sees it again.
There's so many of them now.
You're not one of those fellas that has a girl in every port.
Oh, no, sir.
You're the kind of guys that get port in every girl. I know. Well, that's it. Now, here we go. For $16 double, $24 triple. One is wrong. Tell me the number of it. Number 1, a sad sack is a soldier who's a sorry sight and always out of luck. Number 2, a knapsack is something that gives you round shoulders if it's too full. Number 3, a doodle sack is the name of a trap used to catch doodlebugs. Now, correction, please. Which is wrong, 1, 2, or 3?
Number 3 is wrong.
Number 3 is wrong. You're right for $16. I don't know what you'd call a trap to catch doodlebugs, if anybody wanted to catch them, but doodle sack means something else. And you can raise your winnings to $24 if you can just give me a hint as to what a doodle sack is. I'll tell you this much, it makes a certain kind of music. This is sort of tough. A doodle sack. Doodle sack.
That wouldn't be the bag on a bagpipe or something like that?
It says here that IPAN and Vitalis are going to pay you $24 because they think it is. Yes, sir, you got it right there.
Say, Jay, did you know that I used to play the bagpipes?
Oh, you did, Fred? How come?
Well, I'm a Scot, you know, and every Scot knows how to play them.
Well, then you're just the person to tell me something, Fred. Is it true what they say about the Scotch?
You mean that we're tight?
Well, yeah.
No, it isn't true, Flip. Well, we can throw money away just like the next person. Why, for 2 cents, I'd throw a penny away. Jay, maybe you better make with a joke.
Yeah, fair enough. If you make with the sense, huh?
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, if it's a brighter, more attractive smile you want, then try Ipana toothpaste and gum massage.
Now you're talking.
Well, natch, Flip, because Ipana, when used with gum massage, is especially designed to help keep our gums firm and healthy. And it's firm gums, you know, that help make our teeth brighter, our smile more sparkling and attractive. So that's why so many doctors recommend this daily routine.
Brush your teeth regularly with Ipana toothpaste. And every time you do, put a little extra Ipana on your brush or fingertip and massage it on your gums.
Try that, friends, and then see how much healthier your gums, how much brighter your teeth, thanks to Ipana toothpaste and gum massage. By the way, if your store is temporarily out of Ipana, remember that wartime shortages and the increased demand from the armed forces make it impossible for Bristol-Myers to keep every store supplied all the time. Just ask for Ipana again.
Now, back to correction, please, and a chance for you boys and girls to win some more money. Now, Jerry Sears and the boys in the orchestra are going to lend a hand on some musical statements. Now, if you're quick at identifying well-known songs, you're a cinch to double and maybe even triple your money on this. Who wants it? Musical statements.
$10.
Well, how do you do? This is Miss Dorothy Carroll of Chestertown, Maryland. And how are you, Miss Carroll?
I'm fine, Mr. Flitter.
How does it feel to be surrounded by four handsome gentlemen?
Feels very nice, I can say.
Tell me about Chestertown. Where is Chestertown? Is that about equivalent to Orwell, Ohio, of course?
Oh, it has a couple of more people, I suppose.
What did you do in Chestertown, Maryland?
Oh, I lived there just for a little while. Then I came to New York.
What are you doing in New York?
Well, I'm a hat checker on the Longshanks.
Oh, yes. How's business?
Wonderful.
All right, now here, are you musically inclined? Is that how you happen to pick out this category?
Right.
Well, these three song titles should remind you of certain holidays or special days in the year. Now listen closely, I'll give you the wrong clue on one. Number one, this song title should remind you of the holiday when all the gals wear brand new hats. Number two, this song title should remind you of the holiday when the youngsters pop off firecrackers. Number three, this song title should remind you of the holiday when the family gathers around and eats turkey. Now, correction, please, about which song title do you think I gave you the wrong statement? Number one, number two, or number three?
Number two.
Number two is wrong. You're absolutely right. Yes, indeed. The boy should have played She's a Grand Old Flag or Yankee Doodle or something like that to remind you of the firecracker holiday, 4th of July. Now, you've doubled your bid. You've got 20. Here's how you can get 30. If you tell me with what special day in the year that second song is associated. Think of the title, and I'm sure you'll know the answer.
St. Patty's Day.
St. Patty's Day for $30. Yes, indeed. Now, here's a set of statements on comic strip characters and their girlfriends. Now, I'm sure you'll recall you're all familiar with these characters, so who wants to bid the highest? Do I hear an opening bid?
$10.
Well, come over. The boys are really leaping on me now. This is Corporal Julius J. Ehrlich, E-H-R-L-I-C-H, of the Bronx, New York City, and the United States Army. How is everything up in the dear old Bronx there, Julius?
Just fine, just fine.
Family still up there?
Oh, yes.
Is there a Mrs. Ehrlich? I mean...
No. Still a single man.
Still a single man.
And happy.
And happy, oh, I see. Are you doing a little shopping, though? I mean,
looking around.
I see. What's the number one's name?
Number one's name? Corporal Gertrude Hosley in the wax right now.
Oh, swell. Both in the same service,
That's
huh?
right.
Good for you. Do you like comic strip characters?
Yeah, not bad.
You read Dick
Especially
Tracy?
comic books.
You read Dick Tracy?
Yes, once in a while.
You know, I don't think it was the coffee that knocked out Dick Tracy.
What was it?
I think he was sitting next to B.O. Plenty and became breathless. I think that's the whole thing. But here, you bid yourself $10. You've got a chance to double it for 20 and triple it for 30. Remember, one of the statements is wrong. Just tell me the number of the one that you think is incorrect. Number one, Mandrake's girlfriend is named Narda. Number two, the Phantom's girlfriend is named Deanna. Number three, Dick Tracy's girlfriend is named Breathless. Correction, please. Which is wrong?
Three.
Number three is wrong for $20 worth. Yes, indeed. You've doubled your money. Now try to triple it for $30, Julius, and tell me who Breathless is. Since she's not Dick Tracy's girlfriend, who is Breathless?
Breathless. Oh, goodness.
Yeah, Breathless. No, I don't mean for you to be breathless. I mean just who is Breathless? In the Dick Tracy strip, who is Breathless?
Oh, that's that girl that's running around with $50,000 right now in her...
And that's not exactly chopped liver, is it?
No, I don't think...
Well, I can't give you that $50,000, but there's $30 because you're absolutely right. That's who Breathless is. Now, look, come on over here, everybody. I got an idea. Let's raise the ante and take off the $10 limit on the bidding. From now on, you can bid up to $20 if you've won that much tonight, and I'm very happy to say that all of you have. Now, the stakes are higher. The statements are tougher. We'll only have time for a few questions, so the faster we move along, the more you'll have a chance to get into the big money. But remember, if you miss, you forfeit the amount of your bid. Now, let's try this set on comparative sizes in terms of square miles, not population. Now, who wants to take a crack at this for a chance to double and triple his money? Let's have some bidding. These are about countries I think you know. Comparative sizes.
$10.
$10. 20. Yes, ma'am. Here's our little lady from Chestertown, Maryland, who was such an expert musically. Let's see now if she knows about comparative sizes. Be careful now. On your toes. I can't give any help. You've got a chance to double for 40, triple for 60. Number one, Brazil is larger than the entire continental United States. Number two, Canada is larger than any other country in the Western Hemisphere. Number three, the Northern Hemisphere is larger than the Southern Hemisphere. Correction, please. One statement and only one is incorrect. Would you say it's 1, 2, or 3?
I think it's number three.
Was that a guess?
No.
It's not a guess?
No.
You're positive it's number
Positive,
3?
yeah.
You got yourself $40 because number 3 is wrong. You're right. Yes, indeed. Now, I said the northern hemisphere is larger than the southern hemisphere. Now, that statement is incorrect. Now, it's worth $60 to you, or 3 times the amount of your original bid, if you can correct that statement. Think carefully now. There's a little catch to this.
Well, to make up a sphere, don't you need 2 hemispheres, so they must be the same or something like that?
The north must be the same as the south. This kid has really been to school. Give her $60. I don't want to argue with her at all. You're right. Now, today, August the 10th, is the birthday of Herbert Hoover, former President of the United States. So I have a set of statements here about him which you shouldn't find too difficult. Who wants to try his luck this time on bidding the highest on Herbert Hoover?
$10.
$10 from the Bronx.
$15.
$15 from New York. $16. $20 from Corporal Julius Ehrlich of the Bronx.
Let's go.
Is the little lady here from the wax?
Yeah.
Is she watching you?
Yeah.
Are you nervous?
No.
Don't get nervous.
Money
Because you got a chance to get $40 and possibly $60. Here we go. Number 1, Herbert Hoover is the only living ex-president of the United States. Number 2, Herbert Hoover was never a vice president of the United States. Number 3, Herbert Hoover is the only president who was born west of the Mississippi. Now, correction, please. One statement is incorrect. Would you say it's number 1, number 2, or number 3?
Number 2.
I'm terribly sorry, old man. I'm terribly sorry. It was number 3. Until President Harry Truman, who was born in Missouri, took the oath of office, Herbert Hoover was the only president, living or dead, who was born west of the Mississippi. His birth state was Iowa. Thanks for trying, but better luck on the iPan and Vitalis bonus prize. I'm terribly sorry. Now, if you remember your Indian tribes, you can win plenty of wampum on this next set of statements. Our subject is Indian tribes and where they're located. For instance, I might say Iroquois is the name of certain Indians found in New York State. Blackfoot is the name of certain Indians found in Montana. You see what I mean? Okay, let's have some smoke signals for the highest bid on Indians. Indian tribes. Who knows they're Indian?
$5.
$5 from Maryland.
$10.
$10 from New Orleans.
I'll bid 12.
You bid 12 from Ohio, the sailor. $12. $12.
I bid 15.
$15 from New Orleans. $16 from my little friend
18.
Captain Albert Marr of Prince Rupert, sir.
18.
$18 from New Orleans. $18 from New Orleans once. $18 New Orleans twice. Sold to Private First Class Phil Waken of the Paratroopers and New Orleans. Don't take your money out yet. You don't know whether you're lost or not. Come over here. Now look out. I'm going to try to catch you on this. This is a little tough. You bid 18. You got a chance to double it for 36 and triple it for 54. Number 1, Cherokee is the name of certain Indians found in Oklahoma. Number 2, Chickadee is the name of certain Indians found in Oklahoma. Number 3, Chickasaw is the name of certain Indians found in Oklahoma. Now, correction, please. Which statement do you think is wrong? 1, 2, or 3?
Number 2.
Number 2 is wrong. You're right for $36. Now, Chickadee isn't the name of any Indian tribe at all, but the other 2 statements are true. You've doubled your money. Now triple it for $54 by telling me just what the word chickadee means.
Chickadee is a member of the bird family, I believe.
Would you say it was a small songbird?
Yes.
Would you say that?
Yes.
Would you say that?
That's right.
I would
Yes,
say give
sir.
that man $54. Yes, indeed, that's right. Now, this is a set of statements I call contemporaries, about famous people who lived at the same time. For instance, if I said Shakespeare and P.T. Barnum, the circus king, were contemporaries, you'd know that that was wrong because Barnum wasn't born for almost 200 years after Shakespeare. You see how it goes? Okay. Now, who wants to take a chance on bid the highest on contemporaries? Contemporary.
$10.
$10 from the Bronx.
15.
$15 from Ohio. $16 from my little friend from Prince
18.
Rupert. 18 from the Bronx.
20.
$20 from Orwell, Ohio. Come over here. This is taking on 3rd class from the Navy. Man who can stand on one side of Orwell with 1 foot and a man on the other side with the other foot. Look at that smile. That's killing me. That's fine. Watch this, pal. This is a little tricky, but you got a chance to get 40 double, 60 triple. Number 1, the composers Beethoven and Bach were contemporaries. Number 2, the Western characters Buffalo Bill and Jesse James were contemporaries. Number 3, the ring champions John L. Sullivan and Gentleman Jim Corbett were contemporaries. Now, only one is wrong. Which is it, 1, 2, or 3? Think now before you speak. Give it to you again. Number 1, the composers Beethoven and Bach were contemporaries. Number 2, the Western characters Buffalo Bill and Jesse James were contemporaries. Number 3, the ring champions John L. Sullivan and Gentleman Jim Corbett were contemporaries. Which one is wrong, 1, 2, or 3?
1.
1 is wrong. You're right for $40. Wait a minute. Don't get away. Yes, sir. You just won yourself $40. Beethoven and Bach were not contemporaries. One of them died 20 years before the other was born. Now you can triple your bid and win a total of $60 if you'll tell me which was the older of the two at first try.
Beethoven was the older.
I'm terribly sorry, pal, but you got the 40. I can't take that back. But it was the other way around. Bach was born in 1685, making him 85 years older than Beethoven, who was born in 1770. Keep what you won on the double, and better luck on the bonus prize.
I'm sorry, Jay, but that's all the bidding. Time now to hear the bonus statement and award the big Ipana and Vitalis bonus prize of $100 in war bonds.
Okay, the subject for our bonus statements tonight is the Congressional Medal of Honor. Now, here are the three statements, but remember, one of them is incorrect. Number one, the Congressional Medal of Honor is the highest military decoration in the United States. Number two, the Congressional Medal of Honor is the oldest military decoration in the United States. Number three, the Congressional Medal of Honor rates a salute regardless of the rank of the wearer. Now, repeat those. Number one, the Congressional Medal of Honor is the highest military decoration in the United States. Number two, the Congressional Medal of Honor is the oldest military decoration in the United States. Number three, the Congressional Medal of Honor rates a salute regardless of the rank of the wearer. Well, there they are, friends. Think them over while our five contestants mark their cards. See if you know which one is wrong before the number of the incorrect statement and the names of the bonus winners are announced.
Say, Jay, do you mind if I interrupt for a second?
Why, no, not at all, Fred. What's up?
Oh, I just want to explain something.
Explain what?
Explain to those folks who have been asking for Vitalis and can't buy any. You know, there just isn't any Vitalis for civilians these days.
I'm going to hate myself in the morning for this. All right, Fred. Why isn't there any Vitalis for civilians?
Well, Flip, it's because wartime shortages make it impossible for Bristol-Myers to supply both the demand from civilians and the demand from servicemen. So naturally, all of the limited supply of Vitalis now being made is sent to the men in the service. But we sincerely hope that soon again, you'll be able to enjoy Vitalis and the famous 60-second workout that loosens a tight, dry scalp, stimulates circulation, and helps prevent excessive falling hair. Until that time, be patient, won't you? And be assured that as soon as it's possible, you will again be able to buy Vitalis, the famous hair preparation that's been the standby of so many for so long.
Caledonia, what makes your big head so hard? I'm sorry to brush out, Jerry, but the judges have the scorecards ready, and here's Fred Robbins with tonight's cash totals before I announce the bonus winners.
Okay, Flip. Well, friends, as you know, each contestant started out with $10 with the compliments of Ipana and Vitalis. Including that 10 which they keep, here's what they've won in cash. Captain Julius Ehrlich of the Bronx has $20. Our Captain Albert Maw of Prince Rupert, British Columbia of the Pan American Airways has $40. Granville Pike, Seaman Third Class of Orwell, Ohio of the Navy, has $74. Private First Class Phil Waken of New Orleans, Louisiana of the Paratroops has $94. And up in first place, our little lady from Chestertown, Maryland, Miss Dorothy Carroll, $100.
And back to the bonus statements. Remember, I said number one, the Congressional Medal of Honor is the highest military decoration in the United States. Number two, the Congressional Medal of Honor is the oldest military decoration in the United States. Number three, the Congressional Medal of Honor rates a salute regardless of the rank of the wearer. Well, the incorrect statement is number two. Although the Congressional Medal of Honor is the highest award in the United States, the Purple Heart is the oldest. It was created by George Washington in 1782, 80 years before the Congressional Medal of Honor was established. And it is true that the Congressional Medal of Honor rates a salute regardless of the rank of the wearer. And believe me, ladies and gentlemen, it's a pleasure to salute it. And we have three who split the $100 bonus. Captain Julius Ehrlich, Private First Class Phil Waken, the paratrooper, and Miss Carroll is not going to get shut out anywhere because she splits the bond, too. The three of them split it, yes, indeed. Well, that ends tonight's session of correction, please, ladies and gentlemen. Until next week, same time, this is J.C. Flippin saying, don't forget the two products that make our Friday evenings together possible. Ipana for the smile of beauty, Vitalis for well-groomed hair. Ipana, Vitalis. And as for me, much obliged.
Release, it's out. Safely out the instant you lift your finger. Yes, it's Ronson again with the game that everybody's playing, 20 Questions. Is it animal, vegetable, or mineral? It's mineral.
Would I give it to my mother-in-law?
It's a perfect gift for cigarette, cigar, and pipe smokers.
Ah, that must be a Ronson lighter.
Beyond question, it must be a Ronson if you want the world's greatest lighter. And now, here's Bill Slater.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. Welcome to 20 Questions, the absolutely unrehearsed program where you listeners send in subjects for our questioners to identify in not more than 20 questions. A smart Ronson lighter for pocket or handbag will be awarded for any entry selected by our judges for use on 20 Questions. And if our questioners don't name your subject in 20 Questions, you also win a grand prize, a silver-plated smoker service inspired by the Queen Anne period and fashioned by Ronson, comprising a table lighter with matching cigarette urn and tray. In case of duplication or similarity, the subject bearing the earliest postmark will be chosen. Entries become our property. And listen.
I'm the mystery voice, off stage in a soundproof booth. I'll tell you what the subject is, and a poster will inform our studio audience. But we won't tell our questioners.
Who are Fred Vandeventer, famous newscaster, Florence Renard, musician and teacher, Bobby McGuire, amazing 15-year-old schoolboy, Herb Palazzi, radio and motion picture producer, and our special guest tonight is one of radio's most lovable personalities and a star of It Pays to Be Ignorant, Miss Lulu McConnell. Miss McConnell, Mr. Palazzi, who produces It Pays to Be Ignorant, directs it, seems very happy to have you here tonight. And Miss McConnell, we're all very happy to have you here tonight.
Thank you very much. Who is he, Herb?
That's Mr. Slater.
Oh, cute kid, ain't he?
Yeah, he's very cute.
Well,
Matter of taste.
Yeah, what's your first name, honey?
My first name is Bill, Miss McConnell.
Bill, oh, that's a cute. I just love the name of Bill. Isn't that a cute name?
Yeah, it is.
Oh, boy, he's a tootsie roll, ain't he? Oh, he's a star. Well, honey, you just call me your Ronson girl.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'll be the light of your light.
Well, I can assure you, Miss McConnell, I won't light out. I'm awfully glad you're here tonight.
Thank you. I'm glad you said it.
And you're in great form, Miss McConnell.
Bill, your answer was a little weak.
Thank you very much. No fueling. Now, let us get into subject number one. I'm glad you're in such grand form, Miss McConnell. I think you'll enjoy playing 20 questions with us. We're sending a handy pocket Ronson lighter to Harry W. Craver of Murfreesboro, Illinois, for submitting our first subject, which is animal.
This is the 20 Questions mystery voice on the job bright and early with the subject. It's the worm that the early bird gets.
Now the people at home know. Let the studio audience see the first subject. And it is animal, and you have 20 questions in which to get it. Van.
Is it a living American man?
No. Hurt.
Does the man from Murfreesboro designate a four-footed animal by any chance?
Not a four-footed animal, Herb. Van.
Is it a whole animal?
It's a whole animal, yes. Florence?
Is it human?
Not human. No. Bobby?
Is it a bird?
Not a bird. That's 5 questions. Van again.
Is it a marine animal?
Marine animal? No. No. Florence?
Is it some kind of a worm or a bug?
Yes. Yes, Herb?
Is it a June bug?
No, it's not a June bug. Florence?
Does this particular worm exist, or bug, whatever it is, or is it fictional?
It's fictional in a sense. That's 9 questions. Bob?
Is it an insect?
No, it's not an insect. Florence?
Is it in a saying?
It's in a saying. Yeah.
Is the word we want worm?
The word you want is... What'd you say?
Is the word that we want worm?
Yes. Yes. Van?
Is this the worm that turns?
No, it's not the worm that turns. Bob?
The worm the early bird catches?
The worm the early bird catches. Good. Did you have that in mind, Miss McConnell?
No, I didn't really.
Well, you had a bird of a look on your face.
Yeah,
I thought
I
maybe you were
thought it
thinking
was
of
so
the worm. All right, you got the worm the early bird gets in 14 questions, and you're off to a good start. I think I'll get you a harder subject this time. And I believe I've got it. We're sending a dependable Ronson lighter to R.W. Leeds of Columbus, Ohio, for submitting our second subject. It is vegetable, animal, and a bit mineral.
Bill is asking the panel to identify General MacArthur's famous cap.
Now, the mystery voice has told the people at home. Let the studio audience see it. Will be a little bit harder, I think. Don't you, audience? All right. Van.
Is it manufactured?
It's manufactured. Herb.
Is it a flag?
No, it's not a flag. Florence.
Is it a building?
Not a building. No. Bob?
Is it partly made of cloth?
It's partly made of cloth. That's right. Van.
Is this an object famous because of the person with whom it's connected?
It is. Bob.
Was he a man?
Yes. Herb.
Was he an historical character?
Yes. Van.
Was he an American?
Yes. That's 8 questions. Van.
Great.
Was he connected with the government?
Yes. 9. Herb.
Was he a general?
Yes.
I wish I knew.
10. Bob.
Was he also a president?
No. You're responsible for your own verb tenses, my friends. Van.
Is this man living?
Yes. Herb.
Is it General MacArthur?
Yes. And now, what is it? What is it of General MacArthur's? You got an idea, Miss McConnell?
No,
Well,
all right.
is it his pipe?
No.
Is it his hat? Something on his hat?
Not his hat.
I say, is it something on his hat?
It is not something on his hat. Florence?
Is it anything to do with those goggles he wears?
No, it has nothing to do with the goggles he wears. 16 questions. Miss McConnell?
The sword?
No, it's not the sword. 17. Van?
I wonder, is it his military cap?
It's his famous military cap. Good.
Well, that's what I meant, Bill, but I wasn't absolutely particular.
Well, I've got to get it right on the nose.
You've got to say hat.
Yep. General MacArthur's famous military cap.
Well, I've been in the Adams hat store. I guess I'm a little confused.
Well, I'm glad you're using your head and his, too. You got that in 18 questions, my friends, and I think you're in pretty fair fettle tonight.
What's fettle?
Well, I think that's something on the bottom of a horse's leg. Or that's I guess you're in just good form tonight. Suppose we let it go at that. And we'll move into subject number 3. You like the game, Miss McConnell?
I love it.
It's a lot of fun, isn't it?
It's very nice.
Well, we're sending a Ronson Whirlwind lighter, and that's also very nice, too, because that's that lighter with that ingenious disappearing windshield. That goes to Mr. S. Swettenham of Ottawa, Canada, for submitting our third subject, which is vegetable, animal, and a bit mineral.
Rest assured that our questioners can't hear me telling you that this subject is another hat. Only this time it's Napoleon.
The people at home know now. Let the studio audience know. Now see if you can get this one. It's going to be harder, isn't it, audience? Miss McConnell.
Is it in Canada?
In Canada? No.
This particular?
No. That was a good question, however. Bobby?
Is this in part made of cloth?
It's in part made of
Is
cloth.
this a hat?
This is a hat.
General MacArthur's military cap.
No, it's not General MacArthur's military cap. I wasn't doing that. They thought I was repeating on them, but I wasn't.
I was playing for you that time.
Miss McConnell?
It wouldn't be General Eisenhower's hat, would it?
No.
Well, that's what I said. It wouldn't be General Eisenhower.
It wouldn't be General Eisenhower's hat. Van?
Did this hat belong to a man?
Yes. Yep. That's 6. Herb.
Well, was he a general?
He was a general. That's 7. Van again.
Is this general living?
No.
What?
Bob.
Was he an American general in the Revolution?
No. Florence.
Was he a Southern general in the Civil War?
No. That's 10 questions. Van.
Was he an American?
He was not an American. Miss McConnell, you got your hand up?
Oh.
Down it goes. Herb.
Was he a Corsican?
He was a Corsican.
Was it Napoleon's hat?
Napoleon's three-corner line. All right. Oh, practically everybody had that. You had it, didn't you, Van? You had it, Florence.
Yes, sir.
Doggone you sort of boxed me in on hats. Now, you've gotten every subject tonight. so far. The first subject, the worm that the early bird gets, you got pretty early in 14 questions. You got John MacArthur's famous cap in 18 questions, and you got Napoleon's famous three-cornered hat in 13 questions. You're not going to get this next subject so quickly.
I might even say that Napoleon's hat was the ugliest hat I think I ever saw.
You really think so?
Yeah, I really do. Always did think so. All those pictures, you know, with his hands stuck in his vest and with his hat on cockeyed.
Oh, I thought it was a cute hat. Have you seen some of the present-day women's hats?
They make you think they're Napoleon.
No, they're three-cornered and four-cornered and six-cornered. Well, let's move on to our fourth subject here since you're doing so well. Now, don't try to talk me out of going ahead just because you people are doing so well. I've dug down here for one, and I'm sending a lovely Ronson lighter for her handbag to Georgie McCoy of Tulsa, Oklahoma for submitting this one. This will be tougher. It's vegetable.
Bill Slater is giving the go signal to the experts. Now it's up to them to get a traffic ticket.
Now the mystery voice has told the people at home. Let the studio audience take a look at this. I don't know whether you can get this in 20 questions or not. Van.
Is it edible?
Edible? No. It can't be eaten. Sometimes you might wish it could be, but it can't be eaten. Florence?
Is it wood?
Wood? No. Bob?
Is it cloth?
Not cloth. Van?
Was it ever wood?
Was it ever wood? Yes. Herb?
Well, is it paper?
Paper. Of a form. That's 5. Bob?
Is this paper, does it have printing on it?
Uh-huh. Yes. Florence?
Is it a ticket that a cop gives you?
Yes. But what kind, Florence?
Speeding?
What?
Speeding?
Well, yes, a speeding ticket or a...
Traffic ticket.
Traffic ticket. That's it, Florence. You got it. You got that in 8 questions. You people are tremendously warm tonight. You are on the beat. Well, now, okay, questioners, that wraps up 4 subjects. Here's Frank Waldecker.
They're full days, listeners, these last days of May and early weeks of June. Graduations coming up, Father's Day approaching, June weddings in rapid succession. So many functions to attend, so many big occasions to mark with the right gift. And what could be more welcome, what could be righter than a handsome Ronson lighter? It's so smart, it's so special, it's something he or she will keep in constant daily use. A Ronson, you see, is much more than just another lighter. When Ronson developed that famous ever-dependable patented safety action, press, it's lit, release, it's out, and styled it to fine jewelry standards, this lighter became an indispensable personal accessory for smokers. Take, for instance, the Adonis, that latest addition to the Ronson line. This breathtaking leap forward in lighter design, a sterling silver beauty with the streamlined slimness of a fine modern watch, is a gift for which you will be long and gratefully remembered. Ask to see the Adonis and look over the whole Ronson range at your favorite dealer. Handsome models for pocket or handbag for as little as $5.50. Charmingly graceful table models in radiant silver plate, all at surprisingly modest cost. Remember, every Ronson, from the lowest priced pocket model to the exquisite Ronson Banker in 14-karat gold, is made with the same precision craftsmanship. And now, back to 20 questions.
And now you have stopped me on every subject so far this evening, and for the 5th subject, I have really gone down deep in my bag of tricks, and I think I've got one. We're sending a Ronson lighter fashioned to fine jewelry standards to June A. Jackson of Cambridge, Massachusetts for this one. It's vegetable.
Here in my hidden hideaway, this is the mystery voice telling the radio audience only that the subject is that good 5-cent cigar that this country needs.
Let the studio audience see what this one is. All right. Now I think I've got it. Vegetable, 20 questions, Van start.
Can you eat it?
Eat it? No. Florence.
Is this made from paper?
Not made from paper. Van.
Is it in existence?
No. Alas and alack a day, no. Herb.
Was it in a cartoon?
No, it's not in a cartoon. Bobby?
Is it fictional?
Fictional? In a sense, it is.
What kind of a sense?
Well, if I told you that, Bob, you'd know. It does not come from a book of fiction or a short story. Now, does that clear you up?
Or a song or anything.
Now, are you asking another question?
No, you hadn't answered my first question yet.
Well, your question was, is it fictional? I say, in a sense, it's fictional.
In other words, yes.
Well, yeah.
Is it in a song?
No. No.
You got to know out of them anyway.
Florence?
Is it something fictitious in our minds rather than having
no.
been written?
No, it's not something fictitious in your mind. Van.
Well, has it actually been written?
About?
Yes.
It's been written about, yeah. Sure. Bobby?
Is it more or less of an ancient object?
No. No. Florence?
Is it made from wood?
No. No. That's 10 questions. Florence?
Is it a growing vegetable? That is, whatever it is it growing, such as a flower, a weed, or something of that sort?
Well, it's not growing now. Herb?
Well, is it tobacco in any form?
Yes. It's a form of that.
Is it snuff?
This is nothing to sneeze at. No, it's not, Herb.
It's some kind of tobacco.
That's 13 questions. Van.
Does this tobacco have any particular historical significance?
Yes, in a sense it does. Then again.
Does it have anything to do with the tobacco that Sir Walter Raleigh took back to England?
Not quite that historic. Bob.
Is it more modern tobacco?
Than Sir Walter Raleigh?
No, I mean, is it contemporary?
Tobacco? No. This thing we're after doesn't exist today.
I mean, they don't talk about it now.
Oh, yes, we still talk about it.
I don't know how the word is.
Yeah. Remember, we have only established that it's made of tobacco. Florence.
Oh, it's made of tobacco.
Well, that's what Mr. Palazzi brought out. Mr. Connell?
It wouldn't be they used to cure a long time ago, would it?
Cure tobacco, plug up, picnic twist or something like that?
Something like that.
No, wouldn't be that. We enjoyed talking about it, though, didn't we, Miss McConnell?
Yeah, it kind of brought back old memories. Not that I chew.
No, naturally not. I don't either, but I choose you. Florence.
Is this something that somebody smoked?
Yes, a lot of people did, but it's not famous because of the people who smoked it.
Oh.
That's 18 questions used up. Van's going at it.
Was it a type of cigarette?
No, it was not. 19 questions and 1 to go. It was something made of tobacco, not a cigarette. It had some historic significance. Who wants to take a crack at it? You've got 1 question to go. And June Jackson of Cambridge, Massachusetts is probably just about to jump into her radio. Because if you don't get it on the next question, she gets the grand prize. Miss McConnell, you want to try it?
Well, it wouldn't be that tobacco that they make that they give it a very bad effect on one. It's sort of, well, I can't explain what it does to you.
Marijuana.
Yeah.
No, I'm sorry.
Maybe that is the tobacco.
Well, that's 20 questions.
Oh.
Now, you've lost, but has anybody got a fast idea? It's a cigar of a certain type.
Oh.
A Pittsburgh Stogie?
No, it's known because it's in a very famous saying. And it was said by a man from the state that you come from.
We needed a 5 cent Marshall said that, didn't he, Bill? Was it Vice President Marshall who said that?
Yeah, sure. Tom Marshall said that. Sure. Well,
we didn't say it. That's the point.
The good 5-cent cigar this country needs stumped you. You did not get that in 20 questions, and so did June Jackson of Cambridge, Massachusetts. We're sending the grand prize, which consists of the Ronson table lighter in the Queen Anne motif, silver-plated, and the matching cigarette urn and tray. Congratulations to you, Miss Jackson. You stumped them. Congratulations. Well, I got you for one then, my friends. Let's see what we can all do on the 6th subject of the evening. This is the one where I let you people at home play it right along with us, and maybe if you got the good 5-cent cigar the last time ahead of our questioners, you'll have a chance now when I don't tell you the answer in advance to match your wits against our questioners, and let us know how you made out, you people at home. We will let the studio audience see it in just a second. I'm sending a Surefire Ronson lighter to Arthur Daniels of Brooklyn, New York for submitting this subject. It's mineral and vegetable. Let the studio audience see it, Miss Shepard. It's not going to be too hard for you to get, I imagine. Van?
Is it a body of water?
Not a body of water, no. Bob?
Is it a structure?
Partly a structure, yes. Bob again.
Is it more or less of a group of structures?
Yes, there are several structures involved in this thing we're after. There are several structures are a part of it. Her.
Well, is it historical?
Not terribly historical. Van?
Are they in the United States?
In the United States. That's 5. Miss McConnell?
Wouldn't be the housing.
No, it wouldn't be the housing that you're waving your fingers at me about. No. Miss Bernard.
Is it on the eastern coast?
Not on the eastern coast. That's 7 questions. Van.
Is it west of the Mississippi?
It is not west of the Mississippi. Bobby.
Is this a place where they manufacture?
No, it's not a place where things are manufactured. That's 9 questions. Florence.
Is it in Washington?
Not in Washington. Van.
Is it north of the Ohio River?
North of the Ohio River? Yes.
Bob.
Is it connected with education?
Not connected with education. 12 questions. Miss McConnell.
Is it connected with anything around the river, by the river?
No, it's not connected to anything by the river. Van?
Is it in Illinois?
It is not in Illinois.
Is it in Michigan?
It is not in Michigan. That's 15 questions. You haven't been too far away. Florence?
Is it in Indiana?
It's in Indiana. 16 questions. Bob thinks he's got it.
Indianapolis Speedway.
The Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Sure. Indianapolis Motor Speedway in 17 questions. You know, you all might have guessed I would have used this subject tonight.
You're going there this week, aren't you?
I'm going out to broadcast the Speedway race on Decoration Day, so you might have guessed I'd use that subject tonight. Well, it took you 17 questions to get the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and you still got a pretty good record for the evening, Van.
I've seen 8 of those races, and you know, Bill, I used to play in the band that marches down the Speedway racetrack, you know, before the race starts.
Is that right?
1,000-piece band.
Well, the only real personal connection, I think that's quite a good one. That's really something to blow about, being in that band. The closest connection I ever had to the Motor Speedway is once I helped Barney Oldfield pump up a tire by the side of the road down in the Ohio Valley. So now that we have recounted, have you had any adventures with automobile races, Miss McConnell?
No, but I have ridden around that.
Well, I know you've been around, Miss McConnell.
That's right after it was open. Maybe it wasn't open yet. I'm not
the
sure.
Speedway track in Indianapolis.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I will...
I don't think the first race has been run yet.
Good. I'll remember that when I'm out there this week.
You had General Grant on her lap.
Oh, I did not.
That's just a general statement. Now let's move into our next subject. We're sending around some lighters to Thelma Lawrence of Valdosta, Georgia, for submitting this one. This one's very hard. It's mineral.
This is your pal, the 20 Questions Mystery Voice again, and here's the answer. The dagger that Brutus used to kill Caesar.
Now let the studio audience see it. I think I'll stump them with this one, audience. I really pulled up a toughie now. Well, I've only stumped you once tonight. Herb?
Is it precious?
No, it's not precious. Florence?
Is it metallic?
Yes, it's metallic. Van?
Is this object famous because of the person with whom it's connected?
Yes. I'll say so. Sure. Van?
Well, that gives me an idea. Does it have anything to do with handcuffs?
Handcuffs?
Yeah.
No.
It's not connected with them in that way, then.
Oh, no, that's a different kind of connection. Florence?
Is this a weapon?
Is it a weapon?
Yes.
Yes. Van?
Did this weapon belong to a man?
It belonged to a man. Florence?
Does it exist now?
Today, no.
Was it in fiction?
No. Bob?
Was it a firearm?
It was not a firearm. That's 9. Van?
Did it belong to a continental European?
Yes. Bob?
Was it something that to kill a person you stick it in him?
Well, that's a gory way of coming at it, but the answer to your question is yes,
I mean,
Bob.
a sword or a dagger.
Yes.
Had to get them both.
Herb?
Was it used in Caesar's time?
Yes.
Was it the dagger Brutus used to stab Caesar with?
Herbert! 13 questions for the dagger with which Brutus killed Caesar is very good. Did you know he was that smart, Miss McConnell?
Ooh, now just think that to be ignorant, he and I were doing all right tonight.
Well, let's see if you can knock off another one here, since you're very warm tonight.
My mother-in-law will be proud of me tonight.
Your mother-in-law will be proud of you. By the way, is she still with you?
No, she doesn't live with us anymore. Not since she's gone on relief.
On relief?
Yeah.
You mean she's on relief?
Yeah, now she lives at the Waldorf Astoria.
I shall ignore that. I've got to move into our next subject. We're sending around some pocket lighters to F.A. DeMoy of Allentown, Pennsylvania, for submitting this subject. This subject's animals.
Bill is digging into American history for this subject, the hero of Manila, Admiral George Dewey.
Now the mystery voice has told the people at home. Let the studio audience see it. I think I'm going to get you this time, Bob.
Is it a 4-footed animal?
No, it's not a 4-footed animal. Van?
Is it a whole animal?
Yes. Bob?
Is it a man?
Man, yep. Van?
Is he living?
No. Bob?
Fictional?
No. Bob?
American?
Yep. Van?
Was he in any way connected with the government?
Yes. Yeah. Bob?
Was he in the executive branch of the government?
It came under that, yes. That's 8. Bob again.
Was he a military leader?
Military?
Or naval?
One or the other, he was, yes. You put them both in, I'll say yes. Van?
Well, was he a high officer?
Yes. Yep, that's 10. Bob, Hurt.
Was he a secretary of the Navy?
No, he was not a secretary of the Navy. Bob.
Was he an admiral?
He was an admiral. He was an admiral. Does that give you an idea, Miss McConnell? You had an admirable look on you. Bob?
An admiral in the Revolutionary War?
Not in the Revolutionary War. That's 13 Van.
In the Civil War?
No.
In the Spanish War?
Yeah?
Dewey.
Dewey, Admiral George Dewey. Very well done. All right? You've got Admiral George Dewey in 16 questions. You're doing very well. And incidentally, I might point out in connection with our having the name of this great naval hero on our program tonight that everybody would be doing very well to pay very careful attention to the advantages and to the patriotic opportunities available in the civilian naval reserve. It is a swell branch of our country's defense, and it gives everybody an opportunity who is eligible for it to go right along in the same great tradition established by Admiral George Dewey. I'd like to move into what we call our quickies now. Here's our first quickie. This is where I say go, which I will in just a second, and then by putting your hands up, you throw the questions, and I stop you at the end of a minute, and you've got to get the subject in at least a minute. Now, we're sending a Ronson lighter to Alice Volkiner of Buffalo, New York, for submitting quickie number 1. It's animal.
The subject is Queen Victoria.
Mystery Voice has told the people, let the studio audience see it, and in just a second, I'll start my watch and say, go, go.
Is it a living American man?
No.
Is it a whole animal?
Yeah.
Woman?
Yeah.
American?
No.
European?
Yeah, European.
Actor?
No.
Living?
Not living.
Continental Europe?
No.
English?
English. Miss McConnell?
Duchess?
Not a duchess.
A princess?
Not a princess.
She a queen?
She was a queen.
Was she the
Mary?
Queen Mother of England?
Miss McConnell?
Queen Mary of England.
Not Queen
Wally
Mary.
Victoria.
What?
Wally Simpson?
No.
Queen Victoria.
Queen Victoria. That gets it, Van. You got it. Queen Victoria in 28 seconds. Very, very good. Incidentally, that's a very appropriate subject today because in our neighboring country of Canada, they are celebrating today Empire Day on the anniversary of Queen Victoria's birth. And this has been a great year of accomplishment in Canada, the Citizenship Act, and many other steps forward in the history of that great neighbor of ours, Canada. Let's move to quickie number 2, and we'll hurry this one along. A Ronson lighter is being sent to Geraldine Marin of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, for submitting this quickie. It's mineral and vegetable.
The subject is Coney Island.
Mystery Voice has told the people, let the studio audience see it. I don't know if you can get this one in a minute. Go.
Is it a structure?
No, partly.
Is it a place?
It's a place.
In the United States?
In the United
East
States.
of Mississippi?
East of Mississippi.
On the Atlantic
Town?
coast?
On the Atlantic coast.
Is it a town?
Not a town.
In New York?
It's in New York.
In Brooklyn?
In part of Brooklyn.
In part of Coney Island?
It's Coney Island, Herbert. Miss McConnell, you didn't know you were associated with such a smart man as Mr. Palazzi, did
I
you?
did not.
Have you had a good time, Miss
I
McConnell?
had a wonderful time.
We've had a
Really,
wonderful-
I've had a very wonderful time.
We've had a wonderful time, Lulu McConnell, having you here this evening, and thanks a lot to you for coming.
Thank
Miss
you
McConnell.
all.
I think you missed Tom Howard a little bit.
Well, I didn't
Now, in
know
just
the
a minute,
intro.
friends, we'll tell you about next week's guest star and how to submit your subjects to 20 questions.
On any gift occasion, weddings, graduation, Father's Day, there's no more enduring reminder of your thoughtfulness than a table lighter by Ronson in radiant silver plate. On his desk, her dining table, these exquisite accessories will find a proud and permanent place, providing a flame at the fingertips of guests for many years to come. Remember, too, with these charming Ronson table lighters, it's handsome is as handsome does. Their safety action rules out fire hazards. Where a Ronson stands ready with its light, precious furnishings are safe from ugly scars and match burns.
This is Ronson's Mystery Voice adding this tip for all who give lighters. Complete your gifts to grads and brides with Ronson's fuel and flint besides. These absolute necessities make any lighter work with ease. Seriously, folks, those extra-long Ronson Redskin flints with a distinctive Redskin coating will give finest sparking service. Ronson All Fuel lasts longer, burns cleaner, light instantly. Yes, there is a difference. Now here's Bill Slater to tell you how to send in those 20-question entries.
And may I suggest that you get busy and send in some entries. You have a wonderful chance to have your subject used and to get one of our Ronson lighters, and a wonderful chance, too, to win the grand surprise prize. You just mail your subjects, one to a postcard, please, to Ronson, R-O-N-S-O-N, Ronson, 20 Questions, care of Mutual Broadcasting System, New York 8, New York. And tune in again next week, friends, when Fred Van Deventer, Florence Renard, Bobby McGuire, Herb Palazzi, and our guest star try to identify the subjects that you submit. Next week's guest on 20 Questions will be a talented artist from the Metropolitan Opera Association and singing star of the RCA Victor Show, Robert Merrill. Now, this is Bill Slater with our producer, Bob Martin, saying for 20 Questions and for Ronson, to all a good night.
This program was heard in Canada through the facilities of the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation. This is the Mutual Broadcasting System.